Hey, y'all. Y'all do me a favor, like the video, share the video. What y'all doing today? I ain't gonna be live later. I said, let me, my comment section, y'all be inspiring me to have shit to say. And I forgot, y'all know I don't watch none of this shit, but the Super Bowl is tonight, right? So hopefully a lot of my people, oh shoot, we got gifts in here already. Thank you for the bronze medal. Hopefully my people, y'all won't be watching the Super Bowl. We don't participate in this shit, okay? That's that Super Bowl shit. We all watch that. No. Y'all gonna be watching the Super Bowl. So we're not going live later on tonight. We actually have some really great things to talk about, but we're gonna wait till tomorrow. We want to talk about some new acts, right, that have been proposed. That's gonna lead into a lot of stuff. That has to do with, where we going? Shit that's really going to affect our lives. But I just came here to talk some shit. I'm chilling in my little house clothes today. I got my damn cup of coffee. But I was reading y'all comments. Thank you for the medals. Thank you for the gifts. Somebody said they don't watch the Super Bowl. I don't either. I will be checking YouTube for the moments that we can talk about with some bullshit. I don't either, right? But we do have a lot of things to talk about. But in the meantime, let's just have a conversation that's going to piss a lot of people off. We have to go through this every year in Black History Month because this is when the topic of MLK gets brought up a lot. But some of y'all is in the comment section. Y'all just like be all in your feelings. Y'all feelings are really hurt about some things that I've said about MLK. And I just want to reiterate that, hurt your feelings a little bit more. No, really, I don't want to hurt people's feelings. But y'all got to get out of cognitive dissonance. Everything that I have said is actually a fact. And I just want to go over some of those facts. And I just want people to understand this is why I find so much frustration in doing things for our community, because there's such a large group of people who y'all willfully enslaved. You're fucking conditioned when people hit you with the truth and it's in your face and there is undeniable facts. Y'all suffer from cognitive dissonance. I got motherfuckers leaving fucking 5-paragraph dissertations. You don't even have a college degree. You ain't even never wrote a term paper, but you have a term paper in my comment section to argue with me about MLK. We can agree to disagree. Baby, you can't agree to disagree on facts. Do y'all know that? Shout out to you. Thank you, Stephen Hall. I appreciate the $2 holla. Says greetings from 48221. Enjoy your Sunday. All right, 48227 in the house. If y'all don't know what that is, then you just don't know. What up, though? 48227 in the house. That's where I grew up in Detroit. Right? That's my zip code. But it's amazing to me. It is. It's amazing to me how many people suffer from this, right? So we'll have that conversation. And at first I was like, I should go live on my computer, but I don't feel like doing all that setup. For those of y'all that's not content creators, it's a little bit harder to do all that. I wasn't trying to do all that. So I was going to drop the link, but I was like, I'm not dropping this link. Oh, shit, I got a big-ass piece of cake. Y'all know I like cake. I'm a fat girl. Thank you. Thank you for the cake. But I didn't feel like doing that whole setup and dropping the link, because I was like, then I'm going to drop the link and then I'm going to have to listen to stupid people click the link and want to argue, and it's going to irritate my soul. Because if you don't know me and you're new to me, let me tell you, I have a pet peeve, and it is stupid people. That's my pet peeve. I don't like people you can't talk to with any logic. I don't like people that when you're having a conversation, if you have made a point and they are wrong, they do not know how to admit that they're wrong, they gaslight, or you'll ask them something and they say everything but answer the fucking question that you gave them. Yeah, those kind of people piss me off. And I'm not letting people piss me off today, because, yeah, it's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. We will remain in peace. Num yo ho, renge kyo. I'm not doing none of that today with y'all. No, I will argue with you in the chat. Argue with me in the chat. I'll read it, okay? Before we get into MLK, though, y'all like this video for me. I know it's early. I don't be in here this time, this day, or none of this. But like the video for me, you guys. I want to ask y'all something before we talk about MLK real quick. Have you guys seen Corey Holcomb and the way he's been acting lately? I just want to make a quick point to say, like, Corey Holcomb is the epitome of what all men should not do. Okay? Like, there's this conversation that's going on in society today and social media, right? Where men are logical and women are emotional and we're crash outs and they're not. Like, stop it. Men are very emotional. The problem is when men get emotional, y'all do dumb shit, like violent shit. Y'all do a lot of crazy things. Men are very emotional, and I'm so tired of that argument because Corey definitely doesn't have any logic within him whatsoever, okay? Hold on, let me put this phone on. Do not disturb. They're going to be trying to mess with our conversation. Somebody going to come over here and try and call my phone because they mad what I'm saying about MLK. Hold on, y'all. But I want y'all to know that Corey, don't do what Corey do. Like, this conversation that men are all logical and women are not, that is ridiculous. I want y'all to know there is no such thing, no scientific facts behind that. Like, all human beings have a brain, and if you don't get dropped on your head a lot, if you wasn't like a drug baby, if you ain't drinking a lot of lead in your water, like, it's reasons that make you stupid, right? But the average human being, man or woman, we're all born with the ability to create logic. We all develop our reasoning fully by the time we are 25 years old. These are facts, okay? Facts. We're gonna have, it's not Friday, I would call it Fact Friday, but it's fucking Fact Sunday, okay? And so there is no such science that backs that up, okay? What happens in society is that men have been taught that they should not show emotion, that they should be a certain way because that is what deems them to be a man, right? So y'all hold on to your emotions. You don't allow people to see that you have them. And then when you do, because they exist inside of you, sir, because you're a human being, then you explode and you don't know what to do with them because nobody has ever taught men how to deal with their emotions. But to say that you're not emotional, that's fucking crazy. Shout out to Yolanda, in the house. Thank you for the four. I know that's right. See, that's that spiritual Sunday. Them numbers. Num yo ho renge kyo. They need a gift up in here. That's like some praying hands or a motherfucker meditating. Thank you for the four. Okay, so understand that because we're women, this thing of we're emotional and not logical. No, what that means is that we scientifically, the truth behind that is that we actually have hormones that allow us to be more emotional at certain times, right? So when a woman is pregnant, she is flooded with more hormones, right? When it has to do with female hormones. Now, you guys carry testosterone, men carry estrogen as well, but we have more of one than the other. So what that means is we are able to be a little bit more emotional to where we're not able to control it. This is why a pregnant woman that is flooded with those hormones, she will cry at a commercial. She will cry at some shit like, oh, look at my baby made me a birthday card. And, you know, we're crying like somebody died when it's really not that serious, right? Once a month, we have a flood of all of these hormones, but that does not mean we're emotional people that don't have any damn logic, okay? And so Corey Holcomb is a perfect example for you to see that shit, right? He is crashing out. He is crashing out, okay? Crashing out big time. He is over there on his channel. He is cussing everybody out. He is not funny. How many of you think that he's funny? Corey's not funny. Why y'all niggas watch 51? This is the most boringest podcast that I've ever seen in my life. It's very boring. Okay? It's very boring. He's not even funny as a comedian. Is he more funny in stand-up at his show? Because on 51, he's not funny. And nigga, I'm no funny. I'm funny. Right? I got plenty of family members. I got a daughter. She funny as hell. Just naturally, she funny. He's not funny at all. Okay, somebody say he's funny sometimes. Okay, well, I've never caught this sometime. Let me go back because somebody did a big paragraph. I don't want to miss your comment. Let me see. Diamond says, hi, Michi, you are right. He admitted that before he passed. I think all he wanted for us was to be treated with some respect. That probably should have left it alone after we got our equal rights. Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit more because I actually do not believe, and there are facts to prove that MLK knew exactly what he was doing. And yeah, when white America promotes that part of the history and they twist it, they never tell that part because they handed us MLK. They told us who our leader was. That should be a red flag for you right there. That should be a red. Any motherfucker that white America and the government tells us is our leader and puts them in our face, I don't trust none of them. And you should not either. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said drop the link. I'm not dropping no link. I'm on my phone. We're not dropping the link. Thank you for the gifts. See somebody see 100 times 4 in this bitch. that person agree. Somebody drop the link, drop the link. Y'all love to argue with me and say drop the link when you know I'm not 10 times, right? To the 10th power, I'm 100% right. That's what the gift said anyway, okay? Y'all always say drop the link when I'm on my phone. I feel like y'all do that shit on purpose because as soon as I go and I drop the link and I'm on my computer where I can drop the link, you can't drop a link when you're on your phone live, okay? And I can drop the link on my computer. None of you niggas chime in. I tell y'all to click the link to debate with me, and all the people who agree with me click the link. People who want to tell me they love me, they appreciate me, they just want the time to talk to me. None of you, I don't agree with you, motherfuckers. Y'all never click the link, so just stop it. Stop it. It's like you about to fight and you be like, hold me back, and you know you're not finna do nothing. That's why you want people to hold you back. Shut up. You conveniently y'all always say drop the link. Now, if I go do a show later on and say come debate me about MLK, none of you niggas is clicking the link. None of y'all. So just stop it. Stop. Okay? Shut up. Now, back to Corey. Corey is crashing out. Okay? First of all, he's not funny, but again, ever since what happened between him and Anton Daniels, he is over there going off on everybody. First of all, for the man to be funny and for him to then, his first thing to respond to this man is to talk about his children and, his child and his wife. Like, that was whack right there as a fucking man. Shout out to you. Thank you for the $20 holla and back to you too, right? That was whack as a man. And then he claims that he's about the black community and he's always arguing these black points. But then you depict this man's family on a t-shirt as monkeys. I just want y'all to let that sink in. Because everybody was just mad 17 seconds ago about the post that went up that the Trump administration, Trump put up on his site, right? Trump did it on his site. Y'all was just mad about that. So nobody's mad that Corey, just because he's a black man, that of all things he decided to depict Anton Daniels' family as monkeys. What? Shout out to the greatest American alive. Yes, he said, thank you for the $20. Says MLK did the best he could. Well, we'll have that conversation and we'll see. I kind of disagree with that. I disagree. And I'm gonna tell you a bunch of why I disagree. Let me tell you why. Somebody said she even more beautiful without makeup. I don't wear makeup, Larry. I mean, I might put on a little lip gloss. Gotta moisturize your lips, brush your teeth, put some oil on your face. You good to go. I don't wear makeup because I don't know how to put on makeup. I think some women put it on and they look great. Like, it enhances them. Don't be putting on makeup and you look like a whole nother person. That shit is crazy, okay? That's called the devil's work. All right. But I don't really know how to put on makeup. Maybe I do or don't. I don't know. Every time I've tried or I let people do it, I just feel like I don't look like me. And I've been living with my face all my life. So I'm okay. I'm okay with my face. And then I put on makeup and I'll be like, this don't look like me. And I want to look like me. So I take it off. So this is what I look like all the time. I woke up like this. I go to sleep like this. I go to the store like this. I don't wear makeup. And shout out to you for the gold doodle emoji. Thank you. I gotta go check out these emojis in the back. I don't know what y'all be dropping up here. That was funny. But nobody was mad at Corey for that. Like, I don't understand as black people when we say we're about the black community, why do you reach towards the racist stuff that everybody else throws at us? You know what I'm saying? That wasn't funny to me. It was really stupid and disrespectful when Corey did that, right? Oh, thank you for the $50 holla. Okay, the greatest American comeback says, I disagree with you, but I respect you. That's cool. We can agree to disagree. Let me tell you something. A lot of people always disagree with me when I talk about MLK. And again, we can agree to disagree. We absolutely can. It's your life. You believe what you want to believe. But I'm just going to tell y'all some facts, things you can actually go look up, right? And then when you sit and let them resonate a little bit, I want you to ask yourself, should they play a factor in how you feel? And if they don't, the question would be, why don't they play a factor in how you feel? Do you even know the information that I'm about to give you? Maybe you've never been told these things, right? So that's just a way to keep it into perspective, right? But again, with Corey, so he has, he's going off on everybody. He's calling black people apes and monkeys. I thought he was really disrespectful when he got on his show. Did y'all see the other night? And I don't watch his show, but I've seen the clips of it, right? Where Darlene she's a Mexican lady, right? She's not black, but Darlene is like a Mexican. She look like an Indian or something, whatever. She's a non-black woman. And so she's been on his show for forever. And he asked her to hold up that shirt depicting this man's family as monkeys. And Darlene was like, I'm not doing that. She was like, he was like, well, how can I hold the shirt and the microphone? She said, I'll hold the microphone for you. Clearly, Darlene does not feel like getting inside of this situation, right? Darlene does not feel like that it's okay what he did. That's what it seems like to me, right? That Darlene doesn't want to be a part of it. Every time he goes to show that shirt or he talks about that man's daughter, like, you can see the other two co-hosts kind of get quiet. Like, bro, we don't want to be a part of that. You're doing a bit too much. Also, Darlene is not a black woman. So could you imagine Darlene holding up this shirt with some monkeys on it for some black people? What y'all gonna say? Y'all gonna run Darlene through the ringer. Darlene finna be every racist name in the book. Darlene is a smart woman. Darlene know to stay out that shit. But then he told Darlene he'd get somebody else to do it next week. And then at the end of the show, they make this rap. I guess they rap at the end of every show. And he starts rapping, he'd get another bitch to do it. And one bitch won't do it, get another bitch to do it. I'll get another bitch to do it. However he rapped it. So now you're calling your co-host who has been down with you for 16 years, they say, and she's been on your show, she's a bitch now, and you're going to find somebody else to do it because she didn't want to hold up that shirt that was disrespectful. So people who have been by your side, I want y'all to think about that. With men are logic and women are emotional. Why are you crashing out on somebody who has your back in real life? Why are you crashing out on this woman? And then you're going to disrespect her publicly. And then you're going to call her bitches and call her all out her name just because she doesn't want to take part. Because whatever Anton did, he feels like it made him look bad. And he has been trying to find his footing ever since. And every day he comes out with something. He's just crashing out more and more and more. Like, bruh, what is wrong with you? See, I expect a grown-ass man, Corey's age, not to call this woman a bitch, not to go off on him in front of television and everything, in front of everybody on his YouTube, for him not to do these things. And, bruh, just move the fuck on. If you have to have a good cry, nigga, cry at home, get it out, and then come to the show and do your fucking job. So all it is, men are not emotional, we're logical. Corey is a very illogical man. He is very emotional. And a lot of y'all men do shit like that. Y'all do. Y'all getting your emotions. Everybody's told you to hold in. You're crying all your life. So you don't even know what to do with it. Right? So then when you finally do let it out, you do some crazy shit. Right? Over emotional, crying, screaming. Stop acting like men are so logical. If nobody taught you to be a logical person, you can be rather irrational. Just like you got to teach your kids to wash their ass. Learning how to wash up is a top thing. Learning how to clean your house is a top thing. Learning how to cook is a top thing. Learning how to have some discipline in your emotions, that is a top thing. So if your parents failed you, you can be a man or a woman, but you might be grown and be over emotional and illogical no matter who the fuck you are, okay? So let's stop that argument, because I watch over emotional men crash out all day on social media, okay? So no. Corey's acting like a 5-year-old little kid right now that didn't get his way. He's embarrassed on the playground because he got beat up at school and he got punked. And instead of moving on, everybody keep talking about him and he keep trying to prove he tough. When the time to prove you was tough, bruh, was when Anton was in your face. You should have went outside with him, I guess. I don't know, okay? But you acting a fucking fool now, and you're about to throw away all of the people in your life that value you, because you wouldn't call me a bitch and talk to me like that on your show. And unless I needed that shit to pay my bills, Darlene, I hope you're not stuck. I would tell that nigga to kiss my ass and I would leave. Y'all show whack as fuck anyway. Darlene, go find another job, okay? That's what you should do, all right? Go work at a Mexican restaurant or something. You probably make more money and they'll respect you even more, right? Get the fuck off his show. Now, as far as MLK, because that's what y'all waiting for, right? Let's talk about MLK. For those of you that are saying that I'm wrong about MLK, do you know that everything that I'm saying about MLK, Malcolm X said about MLK? So let's just start there. Let's start on a very small level to help everybody who is dealing with cognitive dissonance and you are so conditioned to believe that MLK is this great leader that we should look up to, or that he did something for us. You've been taught that ever since you were a child. You go to school, Black History Month comes, they fucking play, I Have a Dream, a speech he did not write, a speech that is not his words, okay? Most of the speeches he gave, he did not write. These are facts. Everything I'm saying today is a fact, okay? So again, you can agree to disagree, but when you disagree with facts, that's not really disagreement. That's denial, okay? That's another D word. That's denial. That's not disagreement, okay? Yes, MLK said it himself. So understand that when we talk about this government, let's just start on a very small scale with this conversation. When we talk about our government, we talk about this country. Do you actually trust anything that your government gives you as Black people? Right? Okay, let me read. The Greatest American gave 2 super chats. It says, so I want to read his comment. Let me see. He says, I'm not conditioned. I'm saying that at the height of racism in America before civil rights, Martin Luther King Jr. made a decision to go and fight for our people who are who are below his social status. Baby, back then we was all niggas. I don't know what you mean by social status. We all niggas today too. Social status. And I disagree. I don't think that Martin Luther King went and did anything. I think that Martin Luther King was created. I think that they made him who he was and then put him in front of you. You know, that happens a lot today. And if you guys have not worked in activism work and been in the streets, you would not understand that. Tamika Mallory is the same thing. Tamika Mallory is someone, since she was very young, she was taught, she was geared, she was put in a position that when she got old enough and they were ready, they were going to present her to the people. She didn't just decide to go do something. She was primed and prepared for the position that they put Tamika Mallory in. Well, MLK to me is the same thing. I don't think he chose anything. I think that he was chosen and he was bred and geared to be the man that they wanted him to be from the very beginning. Okay? Shout out to you. Thank you for the $5 holler. Says Malcolm X changed some of his thought processes before he died too. He did change some of his thought processes before he died, but that has nothing to do with the conversation about MLK. Has nothing to do with the conversation about MLK. Okay? So we'll get there. We're gonna get to Malcolm X. Because what I find interesting, again, I'm gonna ask all of you in the chat. Let's just come on, like you in class. We're gonna get there. Let's start at the very beginning. Because I'm gonna have you answer your own questions. Okay? And when you begin to answer them, you're going to see how ridiculous you having the thought that you have that what I'm telling you is wrong. You're going to see how ridiculous it is. So let's walk through this, okay? Now, we understand how our government is. We understand that our government will give us things. They will make it seem as though it's good for us when really that's not the purpose of it. So my question is, you trust any leader that the government places in front of you? The simple question. MLK or anybody, do you trust the leader that your government places in front of you and tells you this is your leader? As Black people, do you, yes or no, do you agree or disagree, since you all keep using the word disagree, do y'all agree that you can trust any leader that is placed before you, including Obama? That's right, Aries, including Obama. Do you trust any leader that the government has placed before you as Black people and they say this person is for you? Now, for the people who said that they agree with MLK and feel like he was really doing something great for us, my question would be, your answer in my comments should be yes. You should respond yes to that. So the people who disagree with me, specifically y'all, do you believe that the government ever places a leader in front of us, says this is your leader, and you can trust that leader? Somebody said I disagree. That is not how you answer the question, God damn it. Come on, Lava Man, stop. Why y'all gotta do this to me? It is Sunday. The Lord said you will act accordingly because you're not gonna hurt my brain today. It's either a yes or a no, okay? I disagree. You disagree with what? It's a question. I can't stand y'all sometimes. I get on my fucking nerves. And shout out to you for the $5 holler. Says, why was MLK hated and assassinated if he was so chosen by the establishment? We'll get into that too. Shout out to you, the Greatest American, with the $20 holler. Thank you. You just been giving all kind of love this morning. Says, I love you. I love you back. You do not have to agree with me. And I'm glad that you can show that you do not have to agree with me. So some of y'all said yes. Okay. So again, whether you choose yes or no. Now let's have let's add something else to this topic, right? So can we agree or do you disagree? Yes or no? Is MLK not a figure that the government has placed in front of us, right? Like, here we are all of these years later. Black History Month comes around. They acknowledge all of his speeches. They acknowledge him. They've given him a holiday. The government has absolutely chosen MLK to say he's one of your leaders. Now, if he was really about some shit for the black community, why would they be highlighting this man? They absolutely say he's your leader because they will show us MLK. They will show us Rosa Parks during Black History Month, do they not? They play all of his speeches, but they never mention Black Panthers. They never mention MLK. They never mention the real story of the young lady that was on the bus and was told to go to the back of the bus, right? She was pregnant. She was a teenager. That was not Rosa Parks' story. This is a fact too. Maybe some of y'all don't know that. You can Google that shit. And when I say you can Google something, I'm not saying that Google is the epitome in telling the truth. What I'm telling you is that it's such common knowledge at this point that you can look it up very easily. That's what I'm saying to you. Okay? So again, they show you all of those people. How come they don't show you any of the people that we see as leaders from that era? How come they're not exalted? We're the black community. We chose certain leaders that we say these are our leaders. Why the fuck don't they put the leaders we chose in front of us? Why don't we get to pick who the leaders are? Because the leaders they choose is part of the conditioning. Okay? Now let's go back to MLK. Somebody says that MLK did not, that he did not, destroy the black community. So let's ask you another yes or no question. Did MLK not stand up in one of his last speeches that he ever gave and he told you that he had integrated his people into a burning house? Did he not tell you out of his own mouth that's what he did? Yes or no? You can't say he made great change for us when out of his own mouth he said, I just fucking integrated my people into a burning house. Come on, y'all. Stop giving me the white man logic that they've been giving you ever since you've been in school. Did he not say that? Shortly after that, he died. So to get in that person's question, absolutely they assassinated him. That was always part of the plan from the very beginning. Because when you assassinate somebody, you polarize them. You make them the leader. You can say, oh, well, he was murdered. He was killed. That actually plays into the public's opinion, because if he was murdered, then that probably means he was a legitimate leader, but he was a nigga, so he's easy to be thrown away. Remember, if this is the government's boy, the government will do what they need to do whenever they need to do. Now let's go into a couple other things about MLK, because we talk about this today with our leaders, okay? And it's funny because y'all won't let it pass today, but you will let it pass back then. Now I want you to think about back then how horrific it was, right? How horrific was it for black people back then compared to now? It's still fucked up for black people, but it is much different, right? It's not always in your face. How many of you know that even back then when we claimed that racism is so prevalent, people was being lynched, it was all kind of shit going on. How many of you know that MLK was in love with a white woman? When he went to school, the school he went to, he was in love with a white woman, and that's who he wanted to marry. These are facts, baby. You can go look them up. I even had a video where I showed a picture of the woman. We talked about who she was. We talked about when she went to school. We also talked about the fact that he was told that he could not marry her because it didn't fit into the image of where they were getting ready to send him. I just want to know, did y'all know this? Now, how many of y'all would have been real accepting of Obama in this day and age if he came up there with a white woman talking about our first black president, but he got a white wife? We're going to start off simple before we get to the bigger shit, y'all. I'm just saying, y'all wouldn't let that slide today, but y'all don't find nothing wrong with the fact that back then, y'all want to keep talking about how bad it was back then. Okay, so as bad as it was back then, you got this black man that's in love with a white woman. How did that even happen back then? He wanted to be with that woman. It wasn't good for his image because the schools that he went to, he was being prepared to go and be the person he was. And they said to him, if you're a black man, this day and age, you're supposed to be this minister and all of this, and we're going to put you in a position, you have to look the part. So he was made to get a black wife. How many of you don't know that? Because this information, the day and age of technology that we live in, this information is there for you to look up. So this is just small stuff, but it still matters. Okay? So MLK at this time, y'all black leader, was out there sleeping with the enemy for real, for real. That's how he knew white people. That's how he even was in their circle, to become that boy. Do y'all not know that? For the people who disagree with me. Somebody said, where is the source? Benjin, or whatever the hell your name is, I'm not doing your homework for you. There's a video on my fucking page from last year. You can go watch it. All the receipts are on there. This is the thing for you I'm going to say to you. Go do your research your damn self. I don't give a fuck if you don't know the truth. But what you shouldn't do is come up here in a tizzy, ready to cry with your panties in a bunch if you have not done your motherfucking research. Let me go back. Shout out for the $5 holla. WJ Luckett says, they only highlight MLK. I have a dream speech. They never highlight the whole real MLK. Okay. Let me see. And I think it was another one. I just want to go back because I missed that one. And then you came back with another $5 holla. Thank you. Says Frederick Douglass was actually married to a white woman. Do you disagree? Everything he ever said and did too. That's not the point that I'm making. What I'm saying to you is I'm talking about MLK. Where the fuck do you see Frederick Douglass plastered every motherfucking where? For Black History Month, telling you that he's our leader. So let's keep this into perspective, right? Frederick Douglass, like I said, any black man back at that time that's fucking with a white woman, all them niggas is suspect to me. So does that answer your question? I don't understand how their fathers and their brothers and their uncles were lynching men like them from trees and doing the shit that they did, and you laying down with a white woman. Why? Why? All of y'all suspect to me. So if that answers your question. But we're talking about MLK, the one that the government has upheld for you, put in your face, got you celebrating this nigga right now, and everybody in their feelings like he's such a great hero for us. To me, back in that day and age, is way different to be up there loving on them white women than it is today. Things have changed a little bit, but that's crazy as fuck. Back then, that's really crazy. Back then, right? WJ Luckett gives a $5 holler and says, damn, sis, is your mother suspect to you? I'm glad you asked that. First, I think you kind of disrespectful, nigga. I don't give a fuck how many super chats you gave me. Why do you want to bring up my mother? First of all, is my mother a leader in the fucking community? Is my mom a leader in the community? Has my mom tried to tell black people any goddamn thing? You can't compare my mother to motherfucking men who have stood up and said they're their leaders. Where are my day ones? See, because I'm a very fair motherfucker. So where are my day ones? Have I not addressed my mother and my white father? And what have I always said? Because what you're not ready for is this one right here. My mama was looking for a way to not be black too. I've already said that. That's why she ran her ass to that white man. Because she was trying to find a way not to be black. Because in the era my mama grew up in, she thought that if she had got her a white man, even a bum-ass white man that lived in the same ghetto as her, somehow she thought that would make her be better. I don't agree with my mother's choice. I come in here when everybody be like, how can you be against interracial relationships when you're biracial? Motherfucker, because that was my mama's decision, not mine. I married a black man. My babies is black, okay? So, again, you can't compare my mother to MLK, nigga. You don't even know my mother's name. My mom's not being exalted in front of a bunch of people. But when it comes to the relationship she had with my dad, yeah, I disagree. Mom, why you marry that white man? And that white man is my daddy. But I feel the same motherfucking way, even though it's my mama. Now, was you ready for that answer? Because you thought I was going to switch up what I was saying when it's my mama. No, I feel the same way about what the fuck my mama did too. And if you was a day one, you would already motherfucking know that. Thank you for the super chat. Why 21? What was the one for? Thank you, the greatest American with 21. The $21 holler says Martin Luther King Jr. and Barack are the same person. Well, okay, then. Well, Obama's a sellout too now. Okay, then. So if we agree on that, I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. And they both some sellouts because I don't fuck with Obama either. Okay, Jay Luckett says, $5 holla. I'm sorry, but if you're going to separate your mother from other people, then you are not being fair. Jay Luckett, I don't want to talk to you the way I want to talk to you right now because you supporting the channel. So I think it would be mean to kind of go in on you, but I don't really care about that either because I'm not somebody who could be bought. So even though you give me super chats, it don't mean like let me ask the people in the chat. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm really the stupid one, right? Maybe I'm really the stupid one. You're not a day one. You're not a day one. You're not a day one because you wouldn't ask me that fucking question about my mom if you was a day one. Where are my day ones? Where are my day ones? Have I not spoken on my mama's relationships plenty and how I feel about them? Thank you. Now, let me ask somebody else, because somebody said comparing her mom to MLK and his influence, right, is disingenuous. Right. What do you mean you can't bring your mom in it, but we're not talking about the average fucking person having an interracial relationship, nigga. We're talking about somebody who's supposed to be a profound black leader that we're supposed to remember his legacy for fucking ever. That's written in our history. There is no comparing that to my mother, nigga. Your thought process is crazy. You're one of them people that I would not debate you because you would piss me off. See, and I'm a debater, but I'm a hood debater. So like if we in the same room and you keep gaslighting me, I gotta go because I be wanting to slap you. That's what I mean by the hood part, right? So again, in debates, what they call what you just did is a meaningless statement, right? That is a real term in philosophy and when you're debating with people. A meaningless statement is to deflect the conversation, not to focus on what's there and ask something that does not even apply to the conversation that's being had. And that's what the fuck you just did. My mom's not an MLK, nigga. None of you even know my mother. My mother has no influence on anybody. She ain't gave now speech. Only speech my mama gave was when she would stand in the living room and say, bring your ass in the kitchen because dinner is ready. And you weren't there for that speech, nigga. Shout out to you, Britt, for the $5 holler. Says, I love how Michi give the work to any and everybody. But yeah, my mama was whacked for that. My mama liked us some white men. And I asked my mama, why you was with these white men? My mama got 9 kids. My mama was married to all her husbands, but she had a lot of husbands. They all married her. Some was black, some was Hispanic, some is white. Like when I tell y'all I done experienced all kind of races, I know. These people laid down with my mama and had kids. And then when we meet the other side of their family, this how you find out how racist these motherfuckers is. That's why I love when y'all try to tell me about white people. Nigga, I was raised around some white people. I've lived in some suburban areas, okay? When I tell you these niggas are racist, they is. When I tell you they'll lay down with a black woman, make a baby, and still think you a nigga, I'm telling you the truth because that's what my daddy did, okay? So I don't know how much experience y'all have in this shit, but I got a lot, okay? Shout out to you for the $5 holla. A Healthy Green Lifestyle says, Venus and Serena married others. Black men did not want to marry them. Well, I mean, that's up for debate. They say that black men didn't want to marry them or whatever, and I think it's wrong when black men dismiss sisters. But at the end of the day, I think that's a travesty too. You have these amazing black women who are historical figures who have excelled to a high level of who they are. And you go be with a white man. That's crazy. Because what happens is that in the wealth that they have built, this is the problem with that, right? They built all of this wealth, all of this money. And when they have those children are biracial, right? Now, if those children grow up and look at their mother and father's relationship and they decide to go and be with a white person, all they have to do is then have a baby too with that white person. And in 2 generations, you have literally washed out the black in your family, and Venus and Serena's legacy will then become white, and it will turn into a white legacy, and we'll look 6, 7 legacy, generations down, and there'll be nothing but white people, and they will have come from the wealth and the creation of 2 historical black women. So that's the sad part behind it, okay? That's the sad part. Just I would have married one of them. I know that's right, brother. Tell you would have married them sisters. So Jay Luckett come back with another $5 holler. Says, I asked if you were suspect with your mother, not if she was a black leader. But like I said, they never highlighted the whole MLK. Okay, whatever. Again, you're right. They don't highlight the bad shit about this nigga. You're absolutely right. They don't highlight the bad shit about this nigga. Now, if you asked me, do I disagree with my mom? Do I feel suspect? I don't know if I would choose that word. She's my fucking mother. I love my mom. No, I don't feel suspect about my mama, nigga. But do I disagree with my mother? Absolutely. And I disagree with MLK 100 times more because you're supposed to be a leader. And you was in the 50s fucking black women. My mama did that shit at least 20 years later. It was different. It was different to be doing that shit back then. Okay? So if that answers your question, no, I don't agree with my mom just because she's my mom. I thought my mom was on some bullshit too. And even though it's my dad and he's a white man, it would have never been me. I would have never got with that white motherfucker. How about that? And again, you can't be a day one. Because something I don't talk about today that I've talked about plenty in my past, when I first got on this scene over here on YouTube, I talked a lot about my dad, my life, my personal growing up, the things that I've been through, about white people trying to burn my house down, the police department, people writing, nigga, get out on your barn. I've talked about all of the issues that I've gone through in life, and I address biracialness and interracial relationships. I have talked about that shit so fucking much. So you cannot be a day one, nigga. And I'm going to ask you to quit giving me super chats because I appreciate you, but I don't need them if you're going to keep interrupting my conversation. When a person stops to give a super chat, okay, and they give that super chat, I feel because you have given a super chat, hey, Sister T, I love you, girl. I love you. That's my auntie, y'all, from another mother. She from another family, but that's my auntie, right? But I feel that if you give a super chat, I should definitely take the time to read your comment. I just feel like that is a common courtesy. But you continue to deflect and derail the conversation. When if you didn't keep doing that, by now we would be on to the next topic about why MLK is suspect. But we haven't gotten there yet because you keep interrupting me worrying about my mother. Is there anything else you would like to know about my mom before we leave? My mother's living in Africa now. She has found herself. And not only is she went and got her a black man, she done got her an African black man, okay? So she done went the whole complete other goddamn direction. She is living her amazing life. I sent her and my grandmother over there a few years ago, and they are over there living in places versus Egypt, Senegal, or wherever the hell they want to be, traveling and enjoying their life. Would you like to know anything else about my mother before we move on? Take that as a no. Okay, let's move on, everybody. So, again, MLK really wanted to marry a white woman. For anybody who's going to ask me where are my references to this, I will say this again. There is a video on my page where this is all on there. There is pictures of this white lady. There's documentation. They went to the same college together. The college that he was in actually was a college that geared people towards the stuff that he was doing, right? And so if you want to go look at it, there's also plenty of receipts of this other stuff that I am getting ready to say to you. But if you go look it up, you will find these things. This is one thing I want to say about people and educating yourself. Like, stop waiting for somebody else to educate you, sir. If you want to believe that MLK is everything the government has told you that he is, then by all means, live in that. It does not fucking bother me, right? But at the end of the day, if you actually are curious and you need references from me and you need me to pull this stuff up for you, I'm not teaching you niggas shit. I have a 6-week online money boot camp. I get paid to do all of that teaching to people. I'm not finna go and do research for you and pull everything up once again. There's a video on my channel. Go find it. MLK name is all in it and the video is there, okay? We even had a call-in about his show that's even extra longer. We played all of the clips and I let people come in and talk and nobody could disprove anything that I damn said. But you could go look this stuff up for yourself. You could. And I'm gonna say that if you're the conditioned one, and if you don't believe me, it's your job to go find the information. It's not my job to hold y'all niggas' hands in 2026 through the truth about what works and what doesn't work and who's real and who ain't real for black people. The fact that y'all bought MLK is the same reason why niggas buy all of the fake ass leaders they place in front of us today. This is why for 4 years that fake ass Black Panther been able to do whatever the fuck he do because the news put him in front of people and said, oh, he's legit. This is has been happening in the black community for fucking ever. And this is why they play us today with it, because you niggas bought it back then too. Do yourself a disjustice. Keep believing what you want. I don't care. I don't. So when somebody's go get the research, nah, bitch, just stay ignorant. Stay ignorant. I don't care. The least you can do is scroll your motherfucking fingers down my page and go find the video I did with the proof on it. Do that, okay? Simple. If you can't do that, then you don't care enough. So if you don't care enough to go find out, stop arguing with me in my chat. Don't care enough to do that either, okay? Go get ready for the Super Bowl or some shit, nigga. Go make your chicken wings and your fucking mini tacos and your queso dip, okay? Okay? And get the fuck up off of here. Here comes Jay Lucky again with another $5. You irritating, huh? You one of them people somebody said, when you was a little kid, your mama told you not to touch that shit, and as soon as she turned around, you touched that shit, huh? Because I just asked you to stop interrupting my chat. Here you come with another $5. What did you interrupt me to say now, sir? MLK married Coretta Scott King, not a white woman. Are you not talking about MLK? I can't super chat about MLK. Jay Lucky, I'm not going to read any of your super chats anymore, so please don't send any, okay? Because I'm not going to read them. I didn't say you can super chat about MLK. You're an irritating ass nigga, huh? How old are you? Do you have a girlfriend? Because she probably hates your ass. Because is this how you communicate? You have the poorest communication skills I've ever seen in my motherfucking life. What did I say you can't super chat about him? What I said is you keep interrupting the conversation and you keep sending super chats for me to have a conversation with you as though this is not a fucking live with almost 800 people in it and we have a certain topic we want to talk about and you keep interrupting that conversation. What part of what I said do you not get? Somehow I said it in the most simplest way that a 5-year-old can understand it, but your dumb ass is still confused about what the fuck I just said. You keep talking about he married her. I know. I didn't say that he didn't marry her. So if you would let me finish a fucking sentence before you quit interrupting my motherfucking conversation, we could get to that. We all know that he married Coretta. Do you know how many white women he cheated on her with? Since you know that, do you know how many white women he cheated on her with? Can you tell me that? Since you know so much, how many white hoes did he get down with while he was married to Coretta? Do you want to answer that question next? Send a super chat and tell me how many white hoes he slept with while his leader ass was running around with white women sleeping with them. Answer that question next. Do that for me, okay? Send a super chat with the answer to that since you know so much. Shout out to you, Ty2233 for the $10 holler. Says this dude trying to equate MLK to your mother is like equating a gangbanger unjustly shooting someone versus a police officer unjustly shooting someone. The situations aren't the same. The fuck, I know, but he's slow. He probably drinks City Gin. And if y'all don't know what City Gin is, that's y'all tap water. Now you want to come in. It's okay, Michi. I love you. I'm done super chatting you. So you only want to super chat me when you can interrupt my conversation. You are such a gaslighter. You one of them people, huh? Like you start shit and then you don't acknowledge what people say to you when you're having a conversation. And then you turn the conversation around. You flip the script instead of answering any of their questions. You're not a good communicator. And then when you can't get anywhere anymore, then you try to like love bomb them and give them shit and act like what you just did, you didn't do. Yeah. You don't have a girlfriend. And if you do, nigga, she hates you. She hates you. And she about to leave your ass. I just want you to know. Thank you for. I never thought I would say this, but thank you for not super chatting me anymore. I appreciate it. I really need to get this out, and I need you to shut the fuck up, okay? We've been on an hour, and you just won't let me move on, okay? Goddamn. So again, MLK was in love with a white woman. He did marry Coretta, but he married Coretta because where he was going, you need this image. People could be with white people back then, but they was going to catch a whole lot of flack for it. Of course, he could not publicly present that to anybody. And we know that MLK has a love for white women because when MLK got with Coretta, it is very well known. And if you don't, I don't know what to tell you, but it is very well known that MLK cheated on her a whole lot. He had a lot of affairs, right? A lot of affairs, and all of those affairs were with white women that he worked with in the community, right? Because in that time, he calls himself working with a bunch of organizations that are white people. I want you to know that what happened back then was the blueprint of what they do today in all of our organizations in our community. You will never know how many times I have watched organizations that are run by black men, okay? In communities where we have all of these so-called allies, the allies will come in and they will be white people, Hispanic people, and they'll say that they're here to work with us and they're in the organization and they're there late night hours and they're doing all of this shit. And next thing you know, the man, that's the black man that runs the organization, what happens to you guys? See, there's a lot of black men who, when they get a certain age, like Anton Daniels, you get some money and some notoriety, all of a sudden you want to do all the things you could never do because you didn't have any money or any of that notoriety before. So our black men in these organizations within these cities, once they get some notoriety, they feel like they're a leader and all the women are throwing themselves at them. Even if they're married men, they start sleeping with all of the allies. This happens all the time. MLK was one of the first to do it, but it set a standard. And this actually happens right now. If you're sitting at home, you've never been in organizations, you don't work in a community, you wouldn't know this, but this is a very common practice. It happens all of the time. Ruins all these niggas' marriages, right? A lot of them is ops because they'll come and they'll say something about it. Then they're fighting with their wives. Then they can't focus on the movement. But you will never know how many times I have watched these men start sleeping with all the white women. And there'll be black women that will work with them in their organizations and everything too. But for some reason, they claim they're fighting for black people. But there's just something about them that they got to put that thing inside of a white girl because that's who they run towards. Even if they're working with other black women, they don't go after them women. They go after them white ones and them Mexicans. I promise you to God, I've seen it a million times. A million times. So I want you to think about that day and age because everybody say it's so bad. So this man was speaking to the black community, talking about what we need to do and we need to integrate with white people and we need to do all of this dumb bullshit, right? Like at the end of the day, why are you out here cheating on your wife, first of all? Y'all act like that doesn't matter. Does that not matter to y'all? I don't think it does because y'all don't be giving a fuck about nobody else that I bring up that y'all be running behind and kissing their ass. You don't care what their moral standard is. So y'all don't think as a minister, as a Christian, and as a man who was supposed to be a leader back in that day and age, I don't think that there's nothing wrong with this man first cheating on his wife. And then there's nothing wrong with him at the time cheating with a bunch of white women. I'm just saying. Y'all don't care, huh? Like your leaders that lead the black community should have to stand in no type of integrity or walk in a certain thing that they preach. Like it automatically shows he wasn't a good minister because you shouldn't be cheating on your wife. It shows you're not a good black leader because even if you are going to cheat, you added another level and you're cheating with white people, the enemy. And then if you want to take it a step further, not only is he reckless, he's a sorry husband. He's a sorry husband and a sorry leader of his home because you're supposed to be leading your home, but you out here cheating on your wife and you cheating with white women that if these white men find out about you cheating with their women, they might come and burn your whole house down. So for your pleasures, you are out here causing problems. And back then, that could have caused him to get his whole motherfucking family killed. They might have came and burnt down that whole house with his wife and his kids because they found out you out there sleeping with somebody white woman. Don't seem like you're very much of a protector or a leader of your own damn home. Why would you in that day and age put your family in that position over just some poontang for a few minutes, bruh? Now, somebody brought up Malcolm X, right? So, no, let's not go to Malcolm X yet. Let's just go to the fact of this. We're black folks. We're being free from slavery. Black folks are beginning to build their own communities. We are segregated, so therefore we have no choice. So we have built up our own communities. We live in our communities. We own our homes. We're educating our own children at this time. This is a fact too. And this is all documented, y'all. There's actual footage of black communities. They will tell you that back then we had our own schools, we had our own police, we had our own governing things for our communities because we were segregated. We ate at our own restaurants. We created our own food, even if it was out of somebody's goddamn house. The money stayed in our communities. We built our own shit because we didn't have any of the shit that the other people had, and we were segregated. So it forced us to build ourselves up. And that's exactly what black people were doing. Absolutely, back then, before the civil rights movement and during the civil rights movement, do you know, this is a fact, go fucking look it up, that black children were more educated than white children. When we had our own black schools, we had our own colleges, we had all of those things, they were truly black. They were run by black people and only students who attended those schools were black. And they were much more educated than the white people were. And if you don't believe that, the crazy thing is that on the plantation, black people did everything. If you think they just picked cotton in the fucking field, they did everything. They cooked the food, they sold the clothes, they cleaned the house, they picked the stuff. They even created all of the inventions because it was the slaves that had to do work. So they would turn around and they would create things that made the field work easier. They would create things that made stuff more acceptable to do their chores, to get things done faster. And so they even were the ones who invented everything. Matter of fact, when slavery ended, how many of you know that they gave money and reparations to slave owners? Do you know that affirmative action was created for white people? Because when slaves got free, white people had no skills. They knew how to do fucking nothing because black people were doing everything. So they didn't have any fucking skills. So they couldn't get a job because black people and slaves did it all. That's a fact too. You can go fucking look it up. Affirmative action was created for white people first. They had no skills. Black people had them all. So our schools were much better. Our children were more educated. We were segregated, okay? And because of that, black people built themselves up. So let's just go to another yes or no question. So if we're building ourselves up, I completely agree with fighting for equal rights and not saying that it wasn't horrible, right? And that they didn't need to fight for rights for things to change or how people are being treated. I absolutely agree with that, right? But that is a difference instead of taking all black people and handing them back over to the colonizer. Because that's exactly what MLK did. So my question is, if we were building all of this, why the fuck? I want you to answer from your perspective. Why the fuck would we want to fight and beg? Yes, you can fight for them not to brutalize black people. You can fight for them not to lynch them from trees. You can fight for those things. But why were you fighting? Why were they fighting for? Would any of you fight for this? Why are you fighting to eat at white restaurants? Why? Why do you want to sit down at a white counter and force your enemy to feed you? Why? I need an answer from all the people who are like, MLK did some great shit. You gonna argue me and tell me that part of the civil rights movement wasn't sitting in at white restaurants and forcing themselves at counters? Why would you want the people that hate you to feed you? That's just dumb to me. And then why would you force yourself to go into somebody else's restaurant? You want to give these white people your money. You want to force them to feed you when you could have taken your motherfucking ass down the street to May Maz. She might be cooking dinners out of her fucking kitchen, but she's a black lady. You putting money in her pocket. You're keeping it in your community. And you know that she not motherfucking doing nothing crazy to your food. Why do we need to eat at white restaurants? Black people were building their own. Just make your own. Y'all gonna have to tell me what sense that made. I never have understood that part. Does anybody that's argued MLK want to tell me why the civil rights movement thought that it would be a good idea to force that as an issue? Anybody that don't agree with me, I'll give you a couple minutes. I do the Jeopardy. So, somebody said they can't cook. The white folks can't cook, right? The black folks did all the cooking. So, I mean, do you really think the white folks could cook like that? I mean, the black folks was the ones that was doing all the cooking. Why would you want them to make your food? I'm just saying that has never made sense to me. Now, let's go to some more serious shit. Why they make that black girl, Ruby, why they make her go to school every day and walk through all the white people and get how a bunch of people holding signs, calling her all of her name, having people force her to go to school in a classroom full of people who hated her and didn't like her. So let's talk about that. Why do y'all think it's a victory that we forced our children back into the white school system? Now, you do know that on the plantation, okay, on the plantation, you couldn't read. They wanted to keep you dumb. The oppressor did not want black people to know how to read. Knowledge is power. And I'll take it a step further. Applied knowledge is power. You have to apply it, but you got to get it first. And they didn't want them to have knowledge in reading and learn other things, right? They didn't want black people to do that. So when you get free from them, you thought it was a good idea to force them, fight them, and beg them to let our children come to their schools. Now, for everybody who's I'm just shit that Martin Luther King led in the civil rights movement, right? So, yes or no, do y'all think that was a good idea? I just want to know. Why did y'all think it was a good idea? And for those of you that are praising what he did, why the fuck do you think that's a good idea? Crazy thing is that what you don't understand is that the civil rights movement actually ushered black people right back into the hands of the oppressor when we just got free from them. That's what it did. And now they forced our kids to go into the white school system. And now look at your children. Look at your children. Children are in the inner cities. They're in schools, right, that are run by the government, run by our oppressors, okay? And now that they have all your kids in the inner city school and they tell you by law, you have got to send your children to school. We'll arrest you. We'll send you to jail. We'll come take your kid and put them in child protective services if you do not. So you are forced to send your kids to school, right? Unless you do some type of homeschooling, which is hard for people because you got to go work. But you're forced to send your kids to this school. And then you send your kids to school 8 hours a day while you're slaving at a job. And then you find out come third, your kids can't even read. So you gave your children back to the oppressor. And here we are all these years later. And guess what? Just like on the plantation, when they were in charge of us, they have made sure that your children cannot read. Why the fuck would you give your children and their education back to the oppressor you just got away from? I just need y'all to make that make sense for me, since you want to argue MLK. These are the things that he participated in doing. I want you to tell me, how has any of this benefited the black community? It has actually hurt us. Why would a nigga who hurt us be our leader? Do you know that today in 2026 that there are so many children in the inner city, your black kids, they are graduating from high school with high school diplomas. These are facts. You can go look all this shit up. I'm not doing the research for you. You know, sometimes seeing is believing. You need to look it up yourself because then you'll have a better understanding when you do it on your own. Do you know that there is an overwhelming number of children, black children, that graduate with high school diplomas? How did a kid go through public school? White people's school, the oppressor's school, their education system. How does your child go through the whole entire schooling process, get to the 12th grade, graduate, have a high school diploma, and they're illiterate? Oh, that is a common thing right now. How? Tell me how. Yes, the No Child Left Behind law did that. They don't keep your kids back anymore. We thought that was great. Oh, and then do y'all not think that it's a correlation when we brought our kids back into the oppressor school system? Like, do y'all know what makes them build more prisons? And I say this all the time, but there might be some new people in here. They build prisons based on third grade reading levels. I don't know. You do the math. You put 2 and 2 together. So now we're going to build a prison based on the fact that your black ass third grader can't read, but we made sure they couldn't read because we forced you to put them in our school system where we knew we were going to give them inadequate education so that they couldn't read. And it all started when the civil rights movement decided to take a little black girl and force her to go through all of that bullshit, because what happened was MLK was a part of that nigga group that turned around and said to you, oh, we need to be with the white people. I love white girls. I love that white doochie. He loved to be all up in it. MLK loved sleeping with white women. He loved being around white people. And this is why he thought that you should ride white buses. This is why he thought you should go to school with white kids. And you should be able to do that, right? Why, after all we've been through, you think somebody that told you to go be with white people again and to integrate with them after we just got the fuck away from them? They hadn't made any changes. You hadn't showed us that we're equal. You haven't showed us that you're going to treat us any different. But we fought so that we could go right the fuck back into your system. That's what civil rights was. Do y'all not see that's what civil rights was? It was handing black people right back over to the oppressor they just got away from. And the crazy part is that everybody in here that keep telling me about MLK, do y'all not know? Because this is fact. You can go look it up too. The interviews are all on YouTube. They're right there. How many of you know that for as much as we sit today and when we're working in organizations and we have people we call coons, yes? Yes? We have people that we call sellouts, yes? And we point the finger at them all day. How come y'all don't know that Malcolm X publicly called MLK a sellout all the time? How come y'all don't know that? How come y'all don't know that? He would be on interviews. He would say that he's a sellout. And the reason he called him a sellout is because he was collaborating with white people. He was taking a white check. The white people were doing all of the shit that they asked him to do. He was working for them. It's the same thing today. If you go into an organization, you have people who come in and say, I want to be allies. They act like they want to be a part of your movement, and then they co-op it. And the way that they co-op your movement is they turn around and they offer you funds. When they give you money in any organization, if you ain't been in them, I'm telling you, this is not an opinion. This is a fucking fact. If you've been in these streets, you would know. When you talk about these organizations, you get the people who come in and they have the money. Okay, so they'll look at you and they'll say, "Oh, we can take your organization from here to here because we have funds to help you do events. We'll sponsor you. We'll give you grants. We'll give you money." But for black organizations, unlike any other organization, they require you to change your mission statement. Your mission statement cannot say that you do something for black people. It has to say people of color, or they will not support you. All of these organizations that you see that may start off black and then you read their mission statement, and y'all should be reading their mission statement. If you're not, what's wrong with you? If you read their mission statement and you notice, and shout out to the gifts, I missed that, but thank you. If you read their mission statement, what they will say, it'll change, and it'll say that they serve people of color. You can't say black. You can't say you're just fighting for black Americans, FBA, ADOS. They're going to tell you to change that shit if you want our money. And most organizations will. Same thing with MLK. This is why his speech had to be about collaborating with white people, coming together with them, kumbaya, let's all get along. Nigga, they just lynched 7 people uncle last night. The fuck you mean get along? Get along? It still smell like burnt dead body in the air, and you talking about get along. The smell of the last lynching ain't even left the premises yet, and you want us to get along with them people. That's crazy to me. But the same way that it has to be people of color, we have to unite with everybody that is not a white person, and the white people come in and they support you and they'll give you money. If you're not willing to do that, they're not going to give you no money. So MLK was absolutely funded, paid for by the people who controlled him. I'm telling you, if it's like that today in this day and age, it was definitely like that back in the goddamn civil rights movements. It absolutely was like that back then. That was the beginning of this fight. We had just motherfucking trying to get ourselves together from being free. For him to take that money, he had to speak their rhetoric for them. And he took the money. And he spoke their rhetoric. That's why the rhetoric was always, let's get along and kumbaya with these fucking people. Every speech that man spoke, he did not write. That is a fact you can go look up too. He was a puppet that they put in front of everybody to say what they told him to say, to do what they told him to do. And they paid him to say every fucking thing that he did. He was a sellout. Okay? That's the truth. Shout out to you, Kennedy Ford. Thank you for that. Says Michi speaking facts. Thank you for the $50 holla. I appreciate that. Thank you. He was. And then people say, well, why? Why would they kill him then? Y'all sound crazy. Y'all sound crazy. Y'all act like because he did what he was supposed to do for them and he was a good boy, that meant that he was safe from being assassinated. We have talked about psychology on this channel so much. So let me break down the psychology to you. He's still a nigga. He's just a bought nigga. Okay? They paid for him. And when they didn't have any more use for this man, because he started getting on TV trying to have some I'm a sellout remorse. He was remorseful for being a sellout. So when people tell me that MLK was a great leader, another question I will propose to you is this. If he was a great leader, then why did he come out before he passed away? Well, before he got assassinated, right? Why is it that he came out and he told you in his speech that he had integrated his people into a burning house? Like, I don't know about you, but I understand words and I understand context, right? Somebody said MLK took accountability. Nigga, somebody killed somebody's whole family. They go in their house, they kill the kids, they kill the mom, they kill the dad, they kill every motherfucking body. They set the goddamn house on fire, right? They go to court, they about to be sentenced, and they take accountability. Your Honor, I was on drugs back then. I don't know what was wrong with me, and I'm sorry for what I did, and I wish I could take it back. Bitch, you can't take it back. What the fuck difference would that make? He took accountability. Yeah, after he destroyed everything. So who gives a fuck? His accountability is why he died. You don't know that? He got up there talking like that. I integrated my people into a burning house. I did wrong. They said, oh, this nigga he's deviating from the script. He's deviating from the script. Before he deviates from it too far, this is the psychological thing when it talks about mass control, mass conditioning. It's the perfect storm to murder him now. Because before he says too much, we'll let him have that speech because we know that niggas in 2026 will be saying he took accountability. So we'll let him have that one speech because that will be the thing to confirm that he was really on the black people's side. But now we're going to kill him because he's not doing what the fuck we want him to do anymore. He is beginning to speak the truth. He's having some remorse. He feels bad. Maybe he went to church and he really believed that motherfucking word that he preached, even though he's been being a heathen all this goddamn time. Maybe he's having remorse, okay? So they let him say his speech and then they took his life because he's still a nigga. And they knew that if they took his life, instead of him growing old and changing his perception and things like that, they wouldn't be able to use him as a martyr. They wouldn't be able to prop him up and then use him and his image in the way that they had paid for his image, the way they had built up his image. And so now, right, they have to turn around and they have to solidify all of that. And the best way to do that is to murder him. He'll be quiet. He won't go any further. Everything he's done up to this point, we can then take it. We can use it the way we want. We can place him in front of the people. He will always forever be immortalized. People will think that he is a part of the community because if we murder him, he'll be polarizing. He'll become a historical figure. We can then use his image however we want because we bought him and we own that image. So we're going to tell them this is their leader. Where y'all disagree? Everything I've said to you, you can go look it up. Thank you for the party hat. I guess we're having a party. This is our pre-Super Bowl party, everybody. It's our pre-Super Bowl party, okay? And thank you for the hundreds. I seen them up in there. Yeah, if I was the enemy and I wanted to solidify the man that I had bought, because he was sold and he was bought, if I bought him and he was mine, I would say this is a perfect time to get rid of him. It'll polarize him. People will always believe that he is a leader. And then we can use his name in any way that we want to. That's called psychology and the conditioning of the masses. Y'all thought just because he worked for them people, they wouldn't kill him? That's crazy too. That y'all believe that just because he was working with them, well, why would they kill him then? Because he was not sticking to the role. And at some point, the goal probably was to kill him from the beginning, is what you probably don't know. Now that you can't go look up, that's just my opinion. Because I know how these motherfuckers work. If you've been enough in the communities and doing work and dealing with politicians, you understand how their mind works and this government works. And I think that maybe to kill him might have been the goal from the whole beginning. You get him to where you want to go because the killing of him is what solidifies everything. That was probably a part of the plan. They just didn't tell him that part of it. But when you play with fire, bitch, you get burned. Why you running around here cheating on your wife? Why you running around here laying down with the enemy every motherfucking day? Why you running around here lying to the black community? Something else that y'all might not understand, and I'm going to say this again because I've been saying it, but this is something I actually found out a couple years ago. I haven't known this the whole time. Do y'all know? So I just want y'all to tell me what kind of sense this makes. If you don't think that he destroyed things, because somebody left me a 5-paragraph dissertation in my goddamn comment section talking about how, the bus boycott and all of these different things, and that even if we had stuff, MLK didn't destroy our businesses, and even though we were growing, we weren't thriving back then, and that happened to, everything fell down, and you can't blame that on him. Okay, so just let's have a conversation. If during the civil rights movement, we had a black bus company that had over 500 buses, 500 buses. Somebody said, Michi, you got to stop this. You got to stop your cognitive dissonance, nigga. Stop me when I say something that's untrue. That's what you do. Stop me when I say something that's untrue. If you can't do that, then you need to stop with your cognitive dissonance. So y'all act like I'm up here telling you things that are lies. All of this shit is facts. You can look it up. But if you choose to be willfully ignorant, then you fucking continue to do that. Okay? The funny thing is that in this conversation and on this channel, there will always come a time where you that agree with me, I'm going to say some shit you don't agree with. And what I will say to you is if you have received the truth that I have told you in other situations you agree with, then maybe you should stop and listen to what I say. And if you're not going to believe me because facts don't back up what I say instead of your fucking feelings. That's what I would say to you. I need to stop. Again, stop me when I've told a lie. Just put the word a lie in the chat when I tell a fucking lie. Okay? The word all of you are searching for and the way you feel right now is called cognitive dissonance. Go look that up too. Now, if we have over 500 buses, see, history will try and tell you that black people didn't have shit. We was destitute. We was just sleeping on the ground and fucking dirt roads. Like we didn't have no life before the civil rights movement. That's what they will tell you. That's not true. It's not true at all. How did the black community have 500 buses? And you're going to tell me these buses didn't exist? Dr. Claude Anderson's family is who owned the buses. You can go to, I'm going to tell you where to find it, but I'm not going to get it for you. I can't even play it because of the copyright shit, so I can't show you. Dr. Claude Anderson's family had over 500 buses. He talked about it on The Breakfast Club. Now, these are people that lived in that era, so where are my older people that are still alive? Why don't you stop telling lies and why don't y'all bring y'all old asses forward and tell the fucking truth too? Because when I go talk to my family members after that lived during that time, they tell me that, yeah, he's telling the truth. So how come in history when they speak about the fucking boycott, why nobody told you that we had over 500 black buses? How come nobody told you that we had black cab companies? Huh? Shout out to you. Thank you, Love Letter. Thank you for that $10 holler. Come on, y'all. Did you even know? I didn't know. I did not know all of this time. I learned this some years ago, but I didn't know. Somebody gonna say Dr. Claude Anderson's bus company was in Carolina. Sir, shut up. Dr. Claude Anderson spoke about it. He said that them buses was all over the South and they had cab companies. So go argue with Dr. Claude Anderson because he absolutely said that the fucking bus boycott. If he wasn't in the places where they was boycotting the bus, how come Dr. Claude Anderson said that the bus boycott destroyed the bus company? His words, not mine. Go tell Dr. Claude Anderson he a liar. I wish you would. Go ahead, tell him that. Tell him. His email is easy to find. Go ahead and email him and tell him he a liar. The 500 buses wasn't just in Carolina. You think all 500 buses was just in that one state? The buses ran all down south. What are you talking about? Dr. Claude Anderson and people from that era that want to be honest will tell you this. They will tell you that they did have black buses, black cabs. We had our own restaurants. We had movie theaters. We had all kind of shit. But let Black history come. Let your oppressor tell you your history. It's untrue. And the crazy part is, why would you want to argue me the points that your oppressor gave you? You're going to argue me with the white man told you, what the government tells you in this sorry ass month where they do nothing but tell us lies about our history? You're not going to listen to the actual people who lived back then that are saying it wasn't like they said it was. So if MLK was trying to help people, you don't think MLK knew that there was buses that were black owned back then? So if you had a boycott against the white buses, why you just didn't promote black buses? Why didn't you say don't ride on no fucking white buses, ride on black buses? Why not? See, today when we boycott shit, what do we say? We say, we need to create our own. Support black businesses. Go do this over here with the black people. Don't do that with these people. So how come when the civil rights bus boycott came up, how come they boycotted all buses? They even boycotted the black buses. They refused to ride a bus until they bent the arm of white people to let them ride their bus. Because the truth is that MLK was a white people lover. And he really wanted to be accepted by white people. And there were plenty of black people that did not necessarily agree with MLK. They did not follow him and they did not like him. But history will tell you that all black people agree with MLK. They did not. They did not. Some black people thought he was full of shit. But we know that he's a white person lover because he loved all these white women and he really didn't want to be married to Coretta. That's why he had to let the love of his life go. That's what she was described as. That white woman he went to college with. And then he couldn't let his love for them go. That's why even though he got with Coretta for the face of the public, he still continued to sleep with them women behind her back. See, he was a white people lover. He wanted to be accepted by white people. And all of the people that followed MLK wanted to be accepted by white people too. Because why the fuck would you be crying about buses and people not letting you sit on the front when you could have just got your ass on a black bus, bruh? You could have got your ass in a black cab. Why not? So why didn't you? Why did MLK and Rosa Parks say, fuck this white bus, let's go to the black buses? They never mentioned them at all, did they? Now, does anybody want to super chat and tell, you want to explain that shit? You want to do that? For all the people who kept fucking super chatting trying to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Explain why they fucking, in the boycott, I want you to understand, this is what they accomplished. They accomplished forcing white buses to let them ride on the buses. And at the same time, the boycott destroyed the black bus company. They were never able to come back from that. That's why you don't have a black bus company today. Because Dr. Claude Anderson is still alive. So I imagine his family's bus company will still exist if MLK didn't have a helping hand in tearing it down. Now, does anybody want to have that conversation? Yes or no? Need some Jeopardy music? I'll give you a minute to let it marinate if you want to. You want to give me some cognitive dissonance with that? Tell me what your rebuttal for that is. Okay? And you can look all of this up. Okay? Shout out to you, Samuel. Thank you for the $10 holler. Says Dr. King admitted he led us into a burning building. Right. I'm saying from a leader who before they died sat and actually told you, I took my people into a burning house. He's admitting to you that he destroyed his people. What do you think that means? I integrated. That's the word integrate because that's what the civil rights movement was about. Words matter here. That's the key word. He wasn't out there fighting for equal rights. He was fighting for integration. He wanted to be mingled right back in the group of people that we just fucking got away from. That was his goal, to integrate us. So one day, it'll probably be legal for him to marry a white woman. If he would have lived long enough, he probably would have divorced Claretta, and he would have got him a white woman later once, it was acceptable for him to be in public with one. That's probably what would have happened. So he wanted to be a part of the white society. This is why his movement was about fucking let's kumbaya with white people. One day, I want to have white boys and black girls in school together. Why, nigga? And here we are, 2026, and no white boys and black girls sit in school together. All your black kids is in the inner city with schools with fucking immigrants who get better education than your kids do. And all the white kids is in their own schools and their communities, and them motherfuckers is over there learning about stocks and fucking bank accounts and how to budget their money and how to start businesses and live. That's what they schools teach them. And we have what's called, jurisdictions and things like that. So even now, you're not allowed to lie and let your kid go to a better school. When you fill out paperwork, your child has to go to the ghetto that you live in. And if you lie on your application and say your kid lives in a better neighborhood and use a friend or somebody's address, they will then tell you filled out papers wrong. There is a black woman that served 5 years in prison in Connecticut because she actually used her friend's address to send her child to a better school. Y'all make all of this make sense to me. It don't make no sense to me that y'all defend this bullshit. Just open your eyes. You don't have to do much. Just open your eyes. Open your eyes. That's all you have to do is open your fucking eyes. Why would we be fighting to go right back into the hands of our oppressor? And MLK achieved his goal. That's why he didn't say, I don't want my people in a burning house. He said, I fear I've integrated my people into a burning house. He said, I put my people in a burnout. We're already in the house, according to his words. He brought us into the house. We're already in the house, and the house is on fire. He admitted out of his own words what he did to us. Out of his own mouth. He admitted what he did to the black community. What do you think that means when he says that? I integrated, not I fear I'm going to. I integrated my people into a burning house. What the fuck do you think that means? That's an admittance that you have destroyed your own people. That's an admittance to that. And he did. He did. And this is the person that we uphold. Do you know that as activists, we would not fight the battles that we fight today if it was not for him? If you're not an activist, maybe you don't know that. Shout out to you, Ty, for the $20 holler. Says you don't get to be a general of an army and lead your platoon into a trap and everyone is massacred. Then when you return home, you get a Purple Heart, whether you were ignorant of the trap or not. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is what I'm saying. Like you failed at the mission, my nigga. If your mission was something different, you failed at it. Because he absolutely integrated us into a burning house and then they killed him and we've been in that burning house ever since. Ever since. Ever since. When you hear activists today and we say that we're fighting for something, what do we talk about all the time? We need to build our own schools. We need to build our own businesses. We need to have our own restaurants. We need to have our own communities, our own systems, so we don't have to be in their systems. Isn't this what we fight for today? But the truth is that we actually had that at one point in time. We did. We had that at one point in time. Somebody says, I don't blame MLK for the issues of 2026. It's us at this point. You sound stupid. You sound stupid. You sound fucking stupid. Everything we fight with today is because of MLK's fucking civil rights movement. What are you talking about? Your kids is dumb as fuck in the public schools because MLK fought. That's why the fuck your kids is in white schools now that don't give a fuck about niggas. It's why your HBCUs are full of white professors and white students. It's not just for black people. What are you talking about? It's why black people don't own shit, ain't got no businesses or no nothing. When we was doing all of that shit got taken from us. And it got taken from us at the hands of a black man helping him to do it. That's crazy to me. People always say, if what happened in history didn't affect us today, then what the fuck are you talking about it this month for? What the fuck are you celebrating MLK for? If your history ain't fucking predicted your future, what the fuck does it do then? Oh, where we came from absolutely matters, motherfucker. That's how we got to where we are. Look at your history in life as an individual. That's how you got to be the person you are. The history of what you did, how you were raised, what your parents taught you, how you came up, the food that you eat. Your history created the fucking person you are today. So how the fuck does not the history for the black community and what so-called leaders did in the past, how the fuck does that not affect where we are today? What are you talking about? The very civil rights movement that them motherfuckers fought for is why you are in the situation you're in with these fucking immigrants. Oh my God, y'all can't be this dumb. All those civil rights, like all of the stuff they fought for that should have been their focus, like us fucking being able to vote, right? Us being able to vote. Us being able to do all the shit that we do. Right to housing, right to education, all of them different things that they give to immigrants in a different way than they give it to us, right? We should have the right not to be lynched. We should have the right to educate our own kids. We should have the right to do all of those different things. Even the fight for the civil rights that actually made a difference for anybody, they didn't even make a difference for us. They make a difference for the fucking immigrants that you see in this country right now. They get civil rights more than we ever get civil rights. What are you talking about? For the person who said that, can you even name for me in the chat what the fuck our civil rights are? Do you know what they are? Shut up. Because you don't even know what the civil rights are. I know you don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't have made that fucking comment. What black people are dealing with today is not MLK's fault. Okay, so then can we stop talking about him in 2026? Can we stop praising this nigga? Can we stop celebrating his holiday? If it's the past, leave this cooning ass nigga in the past then. How about that? Do that. WJ Lucky came back with the $10 holler. Thank you for giving me a moment to say what I got to say and not interrupting me. I appreciate it. He says, the boycott didn't hurt a black bus company. It targeted a white-owned segregated transit system while black transportation networks actually grew to sustain the protest. We have to stop this. Okay. Sir, did you live back then? Why don't you go ask the man whose family owned the bus company, and he will tell you that. Because the bus boycott, you're stupid, because you can actually go look up online in the bus. Okay, let's just challenge that. Shout out Bless, thank you for the $5 holla. Let's just challenge that conversation right there. Where in the history of the civil rights movement and the bus boycott have you ever heard it be mentioned in class, on TV, or in any lesson they're teaching us? Have you ever heard them ever mention black bus companies, and that when black people boycotted the buses, that they promoted them to go to the black ones? When have you ever heard that in this whole conversation? Tell me when that has been heard. When has that been heard? A lot of you didn't even know there was black buses until you heard me say it, or you heard Dr. Claude Anderson say it. I didn't know that shit. So many of y'all didn't even know it was black bus companies. What are you talking about? When they promote the civil rights movement and the bus boycott, they tell you that black people got in cars together, that they worked, that they walked to get to work. Isn't that what they tell you? They walked to get to work. They all piled up and did, carpools and shit. Nobody ever fucking mentioned that they were going. That's what they should have done. They should have stopped riding the white buses and rode the black buses. You have never heard that shit that you just said in that super chat. You have never fucking heard that be said. Stop lying. Stop lying. The bus boycott was not to ride any buses and to make it look right in the projection of the media. And because MLK was running this bus boycott and it was down with the white people that were behind him pulling this puppet ass nigga strings, nobody was going to promote the black buses, because the whole goal was to destroy and force black people to want to integrate with the white people. They wanted you to want to ride the white buses and not your black buses. That was the whole goal of civil rights. The word integration, that came out of his mouth a lot. Do you not know that? He wanted to integrate us. So no, the goal wasn't to say, fuck white buses, let's support black buses. That would go against integration, nigga. He wanted to integrate everybody into riding with the white buses. Go tell Dr. Claude Anderson it didn't put it out of business, because he said it put the whole bus company out of business and his family owned it. Go tell him that fucking lie you just let come out of your mouth, because y'all ain't never heard them say ever anything like that. They were promoting the black buses. So why haven't we ever heard this in history of the boycott every time we hear about it? Please tell me why we haven't heard it. Y'all got to stop this. Y'all really have to stop this cognitive dissonance. Y'all minds be gone. Y'all just be saying shit that don't even really make no sense, because you know that that's not true what you just said. You have never heard that. Any movement that destroyed the progress that black people had to force us to take our progress away, to integrate back with the oppressor, I don't know why anybody would think that that's a good movement. And that's absolutely what the movement was. It was to bring us back to the oppressor we had just got away from, give them control over us so that they could then control us in a way that we think we're free, but we're still enslaved. And here we are today. You think you're free in the United States of America, but you are still very much enslaved. You absolutely are enslaved. The colonizer teaches your kids once again, and they make sure that all of your children are illiterate and can't read, just like on the plantation. Okay? They keep you on the slavery cycle every motherfucking day going to work. They throw people in the fucking plantations, which is the prison. Like, none of this shit has never left. All of it is still here. So I don't know what you're talking about. We gave ourselves back to the oppressor. Had we stayed separate, and let me say this one thing. If you don't know this, you can go watch a documentary on this. It's called How to Sell to the Negro. We've watched it here plenty. I suggest that y'all go and watch the video, because for the person who tried to tell me that we were not thriving, and when I say thriving, what I mean is that we were actually finally, as a free group of people, we were beginning to create our own, build our own, and we were making our way in life. In that day and age, we were thriving. I will tell you, this is the sad thing, is that more black people own businesses, they own houses, and their children were way more educated than we are today in 2026. I want y'all to let that sink in for a moment. If you don't believe me, go and watch the How to Sell to a Negro. Go watch it. It was an actual broadcast that came on Prime TV at that time. And this was the whole goal of the civil rights movement. So let me explain to you why they did this, as well as to have control over us, right? One of the things is that if you watch it, and we've watched it on this channel plenty, but you can go look it up. It's on YouTube right now. Go watch it. It's not very long, but it was actually played on TV for everybody to see. And the thing was is that they were saying that they were trying to tell businesses not to really be racist. They were saying that the Negro is actually thriving. They were giving the statistics. They were saying that the Negro children are educated. The Negro children are coming into the inner cities, that they are owning more homes. They are making money. And they talked about the worth of the Black community back then and how, don't quote me on this, our net worth was still, it wasn't in the trillions, but it was in the billions. Even back then, they was like, the Black community brings this much, the Negro community is what they called it, brings this much money. So the goal was they were trying to teach business owners, right, that they should embrace serving the Black customer instead of isolating the Black customer, because the Black customer has a whole market of money that is worth billions of dollars, because that's how much the Black community can generate, and that they are not getting a piece of that dollar by segregating people from their businesses. And so you should consider letting Negroes buy from you. And then they talked about all the Negroes that have televisions in their home right now, right? More Negroes have televisions in their home. They're having nicer things. They own cars. They this, they that. They make this much money. It's a real fucking broadcast, my nigga. Go watch it. This was about the civil rights movement. So the whole goal was that Black people are doing things. We want to integrate them because we want their fucking dollar. If America's not anything, it is a capitalistic society. It's been capitalistic since they was building this motherfucker on free labor on the backs of the slaves. You talk about where's the proof? In that same fucking show, they talk about the statistics of how many Black people are homeowners, how many Black people are thriving, how many Black people are starting to actually come into ownership of things, how our children are well educated, and how, at the end of the day, you should not keep dismissing their money. So the whole goal was to get a nigga like MLK, to get everybody to integrate so that you would feel comfortable spending your money at the white man's restaurant. So you would feel comfortable spending your money and buying shoes and clothes from the white man's store instead of keeping your dollar in your community. It was the beginning of that shit we complain about today, that our dollar doesn't stay in our community longer than a couple hours. Well, you can thank the civil rights movement for that, because before that, our dollar stayed only in our community, and the white people saw that and they wanted a piece of it. That is a fact. Go fucking look it up. How to sell to the Negro. It is on YouTube right now. Go watch it. Okay? Since you want to tell me that Black people wasn't doing anything back then and they wasn't thriving and they was doing way better than they was with slaves. And the crazy part is, if you look at the statistics of children who were educated, how they were educated, we had our own police forces and all kinds of stuff like that, because the police didn't give a fuck about us, so we did police our own community. Same shit we talk about today. We need to police our own community. Nigga, we used to do that until MLK wanted to be policed by white officers. Yeah, that's all. And so you must understand, there were white people that didn't want to deal with Negroes back then because they were still real racist. It was other white people like, well, let's get their dollar. Then it was Black people who agreed with MLK because they wanted to be accepted, just like Black people still want to be accepted by white people today. And then there were Black people that didn't agree with that shit. And MLK was called a coon plenty by Malcolm X and other people who were in the movement and wasn't a part of the civil rights movement. And they spoke against it because he was a sellout and he was bought and paid by them same people who took his life. Okay, but that's what you do. When you play a stupid game, you get a stupid prize. I don't know why you would go and collaborate with the enemy anyway. You ain't think when they was done, they wasn't going to take you out. Nigga, they never liked you in the first place. They was just using you in your love for white people. That's what they did to MLK. They used him and his love for them white women. Because, of course, history shows us, since we want to talk about history, you always need a nigga to convince the other niggas. You do know that on the plantation, a white man didn't preach the Bible to you. The one nigga they would let learn how to read was the preacher. And they would let him read that Bible, and then he would get on a little soapbox and he would preach on Sunday to the other slaves. Because if a nigga tells them this, they'll receive it better. If I preach it to them, they're going to think it's just the way of the white man and they won't listen to master. So I'm going to get a Black man to be an overseer and stand on this box and preach to the Black folks on Sunday to get them to buy this dumbass religion so that they believe God wants them in this situation, that they should be good slaves to thy slave master, right? We have that today. This is why they brought Nicki Minaj up to tell Black women that we should not down white women. This is why they have Black people that come up and coon all the time, because white people don't want to say it, so they can say, this is not racism, for a Black man did this. If the Black man said it, why is it on us? They love to get a nigga to say what they want to say and do themselves, because you actually solidify it. You look like your people. You is your people. But deep down inside, you're not. But on the outside, you look like your people. So we're going to use you to pull your people along. Same thing like when a kid goes swimming. Do you know that kids are more apt to learn how to swim or do things when they watch other children do it? Have you ever gone outside and your child, you try and get them to go swim in the pool, and you're grown, so they know you can stand up, they know you know how to swim, and they like, I know you keep saying this is easy, but Ma, you on some bullshit, I'm about to drown. I'm not you. I'm not grown. I'm not big as you, right? Right? As soon as some other kids hop in the pool, that's the same size as your kids. They look at them as their peers. Okay, I'm a kid just like them. Them kids start swimming, your child believe they can do it. And then them kids convince your child they can do it, and they're going to listen to them kids, and in a matter of 10 minutes, they're going to have your kid in the pool, dunking his head, floating on his back, something you couldn't get him to do because you're not like me, Mom. I don't believe you. You're a grown-up. I'm not as big as you. But then when you see another kid do it, they like, oh, that's called human nature. So they always got to bring the black person to come and tell you something, because if the white person said, we knew back then they weren't going to receive it. So we need the black face to introduce the white faces to tell you this is okay, because they're going to listen to their own kind. That's why they went and got MLK. He was a fetch and step boy. Go do what we want you to do. And then when he talked against them, they killed his ass because he had no loyalty to his people. And you must understand that white people, let me say something to this, and then I'm going to read your super chat. Right? Let me tell you something. When white people watch sellouts this day and age, or even back then, right? They don't respect a sellout. White people don't respect sellouts just like black people don't. What they know is that you will sell your people out. So they know that they can use you, but they also think you're a trifling ass nigga for selling your people out. So the fact that you're a sellout, you're expendable to them. This is why when you see the new sellouts of today, every time they do some shit, when they finally do decide to stand up for their black people, what happens to them? Let's just talk about that. What happened when Officer Tatum tried to say some shit about white people? What did the white people do? They dismissed him. Oh, you was a good boy until you started talking like that. Every time you see somebody who's a sellout this day and age, and they decide to then say somebody's treating them racist or speak against that group, when they're not speaking against their own kind, and then they start speaking against white people, what do the white people do? They turn on them in a heartbeat and they let them see, oh, we're racist. You was just a good nigga. But now that you're not acting like a good nigga, we ain't fucking with you. You're expendable. Because you're a sellout. You sold your own people out. We know you're not worth shit. We were just using you because you was loyal to us. So just like today, when you watch sellouts, then try to act like they care about their blackness, those white people that are their audience, they check them real quick and remind them they're a nigga and that they black too, right? Well, that's what happened to MLK. He started acting like he regretted. He started admitting what he was doing. Now you want to scream racism, nigga? Okay. All right. Yeah, I think it's time to implement that last step of the plan. Yeah, you got his room booked? Okay. You got a couple white hoes to keep him entertained? All right. When they leave the room, hit him up, okay? That's what happened. They made the plan to get rid of him. That still happens today. You should definitely know your history as for the person who said that, because everything that happened in history, if you look at it, it tells you where we are today and why we're where we are today. History is important. You don't know where the fuck you're going if you don't know where you came from. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. Now let's come back, because WJ Lucky just refuses to believe any of this stuff. He is down with the MLK-ness, okay? He love MLK. Do you have a picture of MLK on your living room wall? Like, you know, people have Jesus up and shit. You got MLK on your wall, him and Coretta, that dysfunctional ass family. do you have them on your wall? Do you have a picture of MLK like Jesus? Because you in here, you giving tithes and offerings today to defend this nigga. You better have a picture of MLK in your wallet. If you do not, I do not know why you going this hard. Do you have him tattooed on you? You better. To be fighting this hard, you better have a tattoo of that nigga. Okay? Okay, so WJ Lucky says, thank you for the $20. He said, Michi, the buses were owned by a white-run segregated transit system that depended on black riders while mistreating them. During the boycott, black taxi services and carpool networks actually expanded to replace the buses. You can keep arguing that point with me, but I'm going to ask you again, did you live back then? Because not only Dr. Claude Anderson, but we have other people that actually lived in that day. And everything that he's saying, y'all, let me ask you a question. What he's saying, have you ever heard that in the bus boycott? Whenever they talk about it in school or in history, I want somebody in the chat to tell me, when have you ever heard that shit that he's saying? Mr. Lucky, when have you ever heard that shit that you're saying? If it actually grew to black buses, how come when the boycott was over, all the niggas was on the bus like, my nigga, we made it. They was on the bus riding in the front like, yeah. Why? If they expanded, then we should have never got on a fucking white bus again, and our black bus company should still exist today. That thing you're saying, you're making up, because everything I've said, you can actually go and look up the stuff that I said. There are facts and things behind it to prove this. What you're saying, we never saw any of that, sir. There are no facts to fucking back that up. That is a story that you are telling that has never fucking been told. And if you go talk to people that lived back during the civil rights movement, because it wasn't that long ago, they still alive, like Dr. Claude Anderson and other older people, they will tell you that's not true either. So while you're giving a super chat saying that, let me just ask you one simple question. Are you calling Dr. Claude Anderson a liar? That's what I want to know. Is he lying? Is he lying, or was MLK lying? Who's the liar here? Because that shit you just said is not verifiable. Give me the link in the chat. Since y'all want to keep asking me where the proof is at. All the shit I said is basic knowledge. You could Google it if you gave a fuck. You could YouTube it. It's all on here. But where's the proof of that shit you talking about? Because that's absolutely not what happened. That's absolutely not what happened. Shout out for the $5 holla. Dream, I'm gonna mess your name up. Shout out to you, okay? Thank you for the $5 holla. Says, I think it's disrespectful to mention Martin Luther in the same sentence as Malcolm X, and people do it all the time. Well, why is it disrespectful to mention him when Malcolm X mentioned him all the time too? So I don't know what you're saying if you're saying like they're not the same kind of leaders. Absolutely, they're completely different. The reason Malcolm X is being brought up in the conversation is because people think that it's ridiculous what I'm saying about MLK today. The point is that Malcolm X, in that day and time, he was saying the same thing about Martin Luther King. He was. So what I'm telling you is that you can go and look up interviews where Malcolm X is saying the same thing. I think he's very relevant in this conversation because at the end of the day, they were both activists at the same time. So if you want to know what's going on, you should listen to more than just MLK and the perspective pushed on you by him. You should listen to people like Dr. Claude Anderson, who was alive during the civil rights movement, whose family was having bus companies and stuff. Other people who lived through that time. You should go back and listen to what was Malcolm X saying about MLK at this time. It does matter. So in that context, I do think that he should be brought up. So I don't know if you're saying they shouldn't be compared. They absolutely were completely different. But when we're talking about in this conversation why he's being brought up, I think it's very valid because, again, as receipts, you can go and look up the interviews. Just put in YouTube, Malcolm X calls MLK a sellout. And there are tons of interviews where he says that. And he explains why he's a sellout. Okay? Because he's bought by those people. Same thing they do today. So I mean, I don't know which context you meant. I mean, they're not equal standing next to each other. No. As black people, I wish they would put Malcolm X up there before they would put fucking MLK. I mean, so I agree with you in that sense, but I think that it is very necessary to look at how the other activists felt about MLK at that time, not just listen to what the white man or the school system tells everybody. I think it is important to look and see what it is that other activists in that time had to say about him. I think it's very relevant, right? Shout out to you, BJ. Thank you for the $50 holla. Don't got nothing to say. Just bless me with a $50. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me see. Samuel Jenkins said, a great example of what Michi is speaking is St. Helena Island outside of Beaufort, South Carolina, had a total community with all businesses she named. Yeah, we had a lot of, you know what though? Thank you for the $10 holla. You know what I find interesting is that we always talk about like Black Wall Street, but the truth is there was a lot of Black communities and businesses that were thriving. Again, we talk about Black Wall Street, but Black Wall Street was not the only place like that. It was not the only place like that. Like Black people were building their own. And this is the thing is that self-preservation is the first law of human nature. Okay? So when you understand that Black people were then separated, they were segregated, and that said, if you want to survive, you have to create what you need for yourself. So it forced us into that situation. And Black people were doing it, and they were doing it excellently, and it was growing. Yes. Did people come and destroy things? Did they try and tear down? Did they try to stop us? Absolutely. But they must have succeeded to a really great extent because today, those very things that our people built, and we saw us thriving as a community on our own, we don't have that anymore today. We don't have any of those things today. We don't. So I think it's sad that after you come out of slavery to be in the times of how racist it was back then, right? To be able to grow in the way that our people did at that time. And even after constantly shit being burned down, being lynched and being torn, we still continue to thrive and to grow and keep pushing to see where we are today. That is the difference between when Black people rule, reign, and control themselves versus when you place yourself in the hands of the oppressor. Who we are today is absolutely who the oppressor intended for us to be. And I know you think we're free and that we make all our decisions on our own, but we don't. And we're caught up in the cycle of how the oppressor has Black people and where we are. Okay? So the fact that we integrated has everything to do with why we are in the situations that we are in today. If you look at other groups, Hispanics, Asian people, okay, right? Jewish people, you have all these different groups of people who segregate themselves. They self-segregate, okay? So they're segregating themselves, you guys, and they come out and do work in the world, but when it comes to building their communities, building their businesses or their jobs or educating their children, guess what? They all stick together when it comes to, and I don't mean stick together as home, they stick together with their people, and they build, and they say, we are self-segregated. We want to be separate from y'all in the building of our schools, our homes, our communities. We don't want to live with y'all. We will come out in the world and work with y'all and do all of those things, but when we want to go back to our culture, our people, and what we do, we want to have our own space, our own communities, our own stuff that is thriving for us. Everybody does that. Nothing is wrong with self-segregation. It's only Black people because of MLK we think we got to fucking be integrated with everybody. No, you don't. Now, being forced to be segregated is one thing, but self-segregation, this is what we fight for as activists today. We want to be by ourselves. We want to own our own communities, our own schools, our own hospitals, things of that nature, because we get mistreated going to other people's spaces. So we want to build our own. Everybody does that but us. And when we were doing it, MLK helped that to be destroyed. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody say. Shout out to you. Angel says, with the $10 holla says, read is fun, meaning reading is fundamental. I think that's not what you wanted to say. Reading is fundamental. If I'm wrong, and I added to that sentence, I apologize. But reading is fundamental. Check out Dr. Claude Anderson's book, Black Power, White Wealth. Thank you for that. Well, the people be asking for stuff. They're going to do something. Y'all can go look up for these facts, all right? Somebody says, I agree, but why are we struggling to do that? I get you. You know why we struggle to do that? And I answer this, then, I'll let y'all go enjoy the rest of y'all day, get ready for the Super Bowl or something. But I think that the reason that we struggle to do those things now is because of the integration. So I just want to say this, yes, can we come up out of those situations? We absolutely can, right? But it's going to take a lot of work because being that we are in the hands of the oppressor, first, let's start talking about our communities, right? Our communities are our children. Our children are the future of our community. So if you first attack the children when they're first coming out the womb from every angle and every aspect, then that destroys our future, if that makes sense. So I believe that we're in a generation. Let me give you an example of what I mean. So I believe that we're in the generation when we look at the kids that are born, these are the babies of babies. Okay? So if you go back a couple of generations, like where I was when I was raised, we were born in the generation where the government flooded our community, right? With crack. That is a fact. The government did flood that's a fact, you guys. I hope that y'all know that, okay? So they brought in the drugs, they flooded the community, and they brought them in to fund an illegal war. This is a fact. This has been discovered. I'm not just making this up. So they flooded the communities with crack, and people will blame them, but it's like rats in a lab. When you start feeding people things, they're living in poverty, they're all of this distress. This is why you look up now and there's a liquor store on every corner in the hood. Right? Because when you're living in despair, they will give you shit to cover up that despair that actually just destroys your life more, that gives you a moment of reprieve from the pain, right? So they flooded our communities with crack and stuff like that, right? And then what happened is that I grew up in the era, where's Gen X? We the best, right? We grew up in the era, we were the latchkey kids. We came home, our parents were at work, or either there was a lot of our parents, right, that was on drugs and stuff like that because of what was flooded into our communities, right? Right, started in the 70s. I was born in 79, okay? So we have parents who are on drugs. They're not raising the kids. We're the generation that raised ourselves. Whether our parents were at work or whether our parents were on drugs, we raised ourselves. We came home. I don't know about y'all, but when I was 9 years old, we cleaned the kitchen. Nobody was, I don't know about y'all kids today. Y'all got dishwashers. When I was 9 years old, I used to iron the clothes for everybody in the household. I used to clean the whole entire kitchen. And we did not have a dishwasher, nigga. I was the dishwasher. We had to sweep, we had to mop. You better not put your mama food away in the pot she cooked it in. And you better dry and oil her cast iron pot. I took out the trash. We mopped. We didn't have no convenient Swiffer sweepers. I had to wring that mop out with my hand and mop that floor. I could put some of y'all houses to shame in the way that I cleaned when I was 9 years old, okay? When we came home, most of the times our parents were not home, okay? A lot of us got pregnant. I had my baby at 16. It was many of us in the community. And so we were babies having babies, okay? Now, some of us had mothers and fathers that when we got pregnant and we had these babies, right, they would then support us. They would help us learn to be a parent because you're young, you got a kid, you don't know how to be a motherfucking parent. You need your parent to help you be a parent. So some of us had our parents that helped us. A lot of kids didn't because their parents were still strung out on drugs. So you got babies raising babies. And what happened is as those babies got older and those parents got older, they didn't understand how to raise their kids. They didn't understand discipline. They didn't understand any of those things. They were so young when they had a kid, and kids are so close in their parents' ages that you see a lot of parents who became their kids' friends. Okay, so I notice a lot of people who have children in the era that I had a kid as a teenager. A lot of them, if they didn't get the help from their strung out parents and they were still having to raise a baby on their own as well as raising themselves on their own, they didn't get any guidance from the elders and the people in the community, right? And so what happened is those babies raised a lot of kids that were not raised on discipline or anything. This is why you will see a lot of kids in that era. They older, they smoking weed with they 15-year-old, they 16-year-old. They think they kids' friends, right? So now those kids had kids, and all y'all niggas is out of control now. I just want to say, y'all out of fucking control. This new generation of kids, something wrong with y'all. But that's because your grandmother was a kid. Right? When she had your mama. Didn't have no idea how to raise your mama. And so you got a kid raising you too. Okay? So we've lost all that value of parents being parents. So now you have kids running amok. But on top of that, right? I want you to understand, the government understands flooding your communities with crack is going to destroy generations. They understood that. So let's be real. Okay? So that was damaging. Also, when you want to get into things like all of the poisoning in our communities. Absolutely. I don't know if you think it's real or it's not real, but we have children that are stupid as hell from the time that they're born. And that's because there is poison in our waters. They put fluoride in your water and in your toothpaste and everywhere. Do y'all know what fluoride does to people? Go look it up. Go look up what fluoride does to people. Go. Why is there fluoride in our water? Go to another country, they'll tell you they would never do that here. We don't mess with fluoride. Is a poison, right? You got kids who got lead, right? You get kids who get improper care, so they're not necessarily treated right. We find out that in all of these products that they pump into the black community, there is cancer-causing chemicals in them. So we're being attacked on physical levels. We're being attacked from the food that we eat. We're being attacked from the water that we drink. We're being attacked because our parents are goddamn not knowing how to raise these kids. So yes, and if you want to go back further than that, we can talk about welfare, right? First of all, when you flood the communities, before we even get to babies having babies, what you have is a bunch of black men who can't find work. A lot of black men who have gone off the war, right? They come back, they can't find work. No help for the mental issues that they've dealt with being over there, and they can't get nothing done because the communities have been destroyed. Because remember, we integrating, right? And so the communities have been destroyed, and for women to survive and take care of their children, they offer us welfare because now we're a part of their system, okay? With welfare, you could not have a man live in your house. So that was the beginning of destroying the family. Now, men used to live in the house, but if the woman came by to do a check on your house like you live in prison, they would look in your drawers and your closets and everywhere to make sure a man wasn't living there. That nigga would have to pack up all his clothes and leave. This is a true fact. So they destroyed the families, okay? Told you the men couldn't be there in order for you to survive and thrive with your kids. They pumped all the drugs into the community, destroyed the parents. Now you got kids raising kids, and this is where we are. But then if you want to add on top of the fact that they don't educate our kids in the school, because we're talking about kids, this is where it starts with, and you wonder, those kids grow up and be the dumbass adults in our community, and you wonder why we got where we are. I want you to know that there is way too many numbers of black children that cannot read. What we gonna do with a generation of black kids that can't read shit? And you wonder why we got there. That's because we gave our kids back to the oppressor and the colonizer. They came up with this great law, no child left behind. Why would you, and that means you don't fail a student no matter what their grades are. Why would you pass a student on if they're failing? If this child cannot read in the 3rd grade, this is why they build the prisons, your child is never going to know how to read. But the crazy part is if your child can't read, that means your child goes through 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, all the way up to the 12th, not understanding shit. They can't do their homework. They don't know what's going on. They'll listen to you, but they can't read, which actually stops them from doing any work. So you mean to tell me our kids just sit through school being dumbasses, wasting time? They can't read, so they don't understand. Then you wonder why they're in trouble, why they're starting shit in the classroom, why they're always in the motherfucking office. It's the beginning of the school to prison pipeline. So over the years, the oppressor has dumbed down our children from all kind of shit. Autism is so prevalent in our community. Where the fuck was autism when we was growing up? Because nobody was autistic when we were growing up. Nobody. Do you know that when you go to the doctor and you're on welfare and you get Medicaid, you get 2 different vaccinations? If I go in and I have health care, they're going to pull out 1 bottle to give my vaccination to me. When you get vaccines, if you're on Medicaid, there's a whole nother vaccination they give you. My question is why? What's the difference? Why aren't you giving me the same one? So you're not going to tell me that there's not some type of a government effort to give children even ailments before they come out of the womb. So now you got kids who have all these disabilities. If autism is real and it's not being given to people, why the fuck are more people more autistic than ever before now? Why? Why? Especially in the Black community. So we could get into layers of depths of how we continue to be destroyed. And if you want to talk about even welfare, we could do better. Because this is going to lead into a conversation that we're going to have on Monday. We're not going to come back together tonight because everybody's going to be watching the Super Bowl and shit. But when we talk about welfare, do you know that people are in a forever cycle of being poor when you get on welfare? It's very hard to get off welfare. And some people are going to say they disagree. Let me tell you why. So when a person is on welfare, right, you get food stamps in your household. You may work or whatever, and you're under the threshold that you can get these food stamps. You might get Section 8. You might get assistance. This is your livelihood. It's how you keep a roof over your head. It's how you feed your family. You might go out to work. You might work a job. You might work a part-time job. But that job doesn't give you enough. It's not that you're necessarily lazy. Do you know that if a person gets a certain amount of money, there's this strong ass threshold, right? And I'll read these super chats in 1 second, y'all. There's a strong ass threshold that says if you make over this amount, we completely cut you off. Okay? So if you're receiving food stamps to feed your family and you go to work, but your job offers you $1 raise. So you're making $1,000 more in a year. That $1,000 can absolutely be enough to completely cut you off of food stamps or any other assistance that they're giving you. But that extra $1,000 does not replace the $15,000 in food stamps that you actually receive. Does that make sense? So I got another $1,000 and you cut me off of everything, but this $1,000 that I make, you used to give me $15,000 a year in food stamps. How do I feed my family when you took away my food stamps because I just got $1 raise? So this is why people, it's like, if you go to strive to get better jobs, most of the times it's not enough to replace what you're given. But if they take it away, now you got a raise, but you really can't afford to survive or feed yourself. So a lot of people will decline jobs. This is a fact. Go look up statistics behind it and shit like that. Matter of fact, the act that we're going to talk about on Monday is an act about to try and change that. But that act is going to lead to universal basic income, and I'll break all of that down on Monday. But again, that keeps people in the cycle of poverty. Because who wants an extra $1,000? Niggas will deny a job. People will not take a raise. People will not take an extra job because that extra job will not replace what you're going to take from me. So even though I have an extra job, I'm still going to be poorer than I was before I got this job. Does that make sense to y'all? So like the government has this cycle of keeping people in a certain kind of a place, right? And I'm not saying that because all kind of people on welfare. I'm not just saying this is towards Black people, but I'm just telling you, these are some of the things that keep Black people in these spaces to where it seems like we can't get up and we can't thrive. And people are like, oh, we ain't got no excuse today. I disagree. I think the enemy is more invisible. They don't call you a nigga to your face. They don't fucking lynch you from trees. They don't make you live on plantations. They do all of these things. They still do them, absolutely. But it is done in a way that it doesn't look like it's that. You have an illusion of freedom. You are still very much enslaved. Absolutely you are. So there's so much that we could say and go into this, but their focus is to destroy our babies, and they have successfully done that generation after generation. Each generation just keeps getting more degenerate and uneducated and can't read or can't do anything. And that is based on the systems that we have to place our children in and the communities we live in and all of the things that are done on a visible and an invisible scale that helps to keep Black people down where they are. Okay? So, I mean, if y'all don't understand that and you like, that's bullshit, we can rise to the top, then motherfucker go rise to the top. I don't care. Y'all get with your mama. That's just a fact. Now, WJ Lucky with the $20 holla. Thank you for the $20 holla. Says everything I'm saying is actually backed up by documented history. The boycott targeted a white-owned segregated transit system. My Black taxis and carpool networks actually expanded to replace the buses. Okay. Jay Lucky, why do you see? This is what I mean about people in conversations. Okay, are you going to address anything that I've said? Because where you say it's documented in history, you didn't tell me where do I find this history? Because everybody in the chat and everybody over their lifetime, like as far as history goes, and whenever they do documentaries and they talk about this in Black History Month, they never say what you're saying now. They never say that. And what you have not done yet is see, this is why I having conversations with people irritate me. I don't like people who can't communicate well. It irritates my soul. Let me say I don't like you. What I'm saying is the conversation between me and you is kind of irritating because what you have not yet done is address anything that I've said to you. Like you keep saying this is documented history. What I'm telling you is documented history as well. Can you tell me where we can find your stuff? Because I told you where to go to find mine. I told you can look up. It's called the How to Sell to the Negro. I told you to go find Dr. Claude Anderson's conversation. I told you to go watch the video on my page where I actually have footage and things like that are showing the history of Black people having all of these things. They're on the camera in black and white talking about their communities and what they have out of their own mouths. So all I'm saying to you is, it's like when people are communicating, why do y'all think that if you just keep saying the same thing over and over and over again, that makes your point? What you're not doing in any of the communication is addressing anything that I've said. Address some of the things that I've said. So again, I've asked you, so is Dr. Claude Anderson lying? Have you even seen what Dr. Claude Anderson had to say? So I would just like, if you're going to respond to me, can you just not keep saying the same exact thing? A back and forth conversation, like get somewhere, right? It comes to a conclusion, which means that what I need you to do is actually address some of the things that I've been saying. Every time you put a chat in there, I address everything that you said. I directly address the things that you're putting in there. Where do you find this stuff that you're saying? Because none of us have seen it when we talk about Black history. So all I'm saying is, like, can you stop ignoring everything that I've pointed out and not address it? Like, you're not addressing nothing I said. You just keep saying the same thing over and over. Like, if you say it long enough and you say it loud enough, like, it's going to become the truth. If it's the truth, there's receipts to back it up. Where are those receipts at? That's what I want to know. Give me a link. Go find it. Put the link in the chat. Come back later if you need to. Put the links to all of this stuff, and I'll pin them to the top of my community section. Okay, how about that? It's fine. Go get your receipts. My receipts are all on my page. My receipts that I'm talking about can be Google. A lot of people know this stuff that I'm saying because it's already been put out there. So again, give me your receipts. I just because you keep saying the same thing, don't change nothing I said. Shout out to you, Angel, for the $10 holla. Says sorry for the typo. YouTube keeps messing with my typing. I know, I figured what you was really trying to say. I think I got it right. P.S. I am a baby boomer. Keep teaching this truth. I lived through all your speaking. All you're speaking on. Okay, baby boomer. So I'm Gen X. Baby boomers are the civil rights group. That's who baby boomers are if you don't know. Baby boomers are the civil rights people. My mama, my grandma, them the civil rights, Dr. Claude Anderson. So here you have a woman that lived in that era, and she's telling you it's the truth. Just saying. Thank you for that. Thank you for saying that. Thank you, baby boomer. Shout out to you, Dorian. Thank you for the $30 holla. Says, how's my beautiful queen today? I'm good. Thank you for asking. Loving the gray hair. Pastor Wyden says, I bet he give 29 plus 1. Take care. Pisces Nation, much love. I be covering up these grays. I don't know. They be doing a little too much sometimes. They covered up today. Shout out to you for the $20 holler says, and the burner house quote wasn't about regret. Oh my God. It was MLK saying integration revealed inequality and the next phase had to be economic justice and repair. We're coming for our check. That is why they assassinated him. When a person pay you to argue your own point for you, like at the end of the day, when he was talking about the burning house, he was talking about integration. He was definitely talking about integration. What are you talking about? He definitely was talking about integration. He was talking about integration, okay? That's what he was talking about. He said integration. Did I not just tell you that integration was about economics? I told you that. I told you that they wanted us to integrate with them so that we would spend our money in their stores, put our kids in their schools. I told you it was about economics. That's what I told you. Absolutely. Yeah, it was economics. They destroyed a whole black bus company to try and integrate black folks to give more of their money to the white bus company and beg them to let them ride. If we're going to give you our money, we want to be able to ride on the front. How about you just don't ride they fucking buses? So, I mean, you're making my point even for me in that comment. He said, we coming for our check. What? You just integrated black people so they could spend all their money with white folks. And now you want to say, let me be clear. Everything we're talking about is economics. Us being slaves was economics. That was capitalism, baby. The way that we live today is all about economics. The civil rights movement was about economics. It was about capitalism. It was about gaining the dollar from the black community because we were holding our shit to ourselves because we were so segregated. Nobody wanted us in their businesses, so we fucking created our own. I have in this whole conversation, I've been talking for an hour and a half. I think that I've expressed plenty that this had a lot to do with money. Absolutely it does. Absolutely it does. So you just kind of made my point for me. That's it. That's all. Shout out to you. Reclaim Media for the $5 holler says, put a 1 in the chat if you want to hear Michi over the Super Bowl. That's what y'all say. Ain't nobody going to be live tonight. Maybe they're going to be live talking about the Super Bowl afterwards. I don't know. That's the only reason I said I wasn't coming back. I didn't think none of y'all was going to be up here in the chat. Let me see. I just want to make sure I didn't miss something. I thought there was a $50 super chat in there, but the way my thing is set up, it went away. I don't see it, y'all. For whoever gave that super chat, I hope that you did not have a comment for me to read because I think it was $50, but I don't see it anymore. It went away. It went away. If you put a super chat in there and I did not read it, I apologize. I don't see it. I guess I was back too far waiting. And so it kind of went away. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate the medals. Look, y'all put the 1 in the chat. Somebody said, damn the Super Bowl. I know, I don't watch Super Bowl either. I apologize if I miss anybody's super chat. I don't see it in there no more. But thank you. Thank you for the flowers. I appreciate it. Miss Natty says, with the $5 holler, way left Michi, please tell me where you got the adorable golden bunny from. Oh, yeah, that's my bunny. He represents the rabbit hole. Clutch. All right, in the middle. That's what's up. Yeah, where did I buy that? I want to say Wayfair. Because I got a little gold spaceman, too. And my yellow TV for MX Network. I want to say it was Wayfair. Yeah. He represents the rabbit holes. I got my little Twilight Zone clock over there. I need to put it behind me so y'all can see it over here. But thank you. Thank you for the $5 holler. And thank you for the gifts, y'all. Look, I'm going to get out of here. I ain't going to keep y'all too long. This video is already an hour and 30 minutes in. I want some other people to watch it. They see the video get too long and then they don't be wanting to come in and they do not be wanting to watch it because it'd be too much replay. Let me say something. I want to thank everybody that came here. Thank you for the super chat and the love. I appreciate it all. I really do. I want to say to WJ Lucky, he say he loved me. You done spent a lot in super chat. So let me say this. We can agree to disagree. I hope that in any way I did not offend you with anything that I have said today because, you know, you have supported and you're a good sport when we don't agree. And we're just going to have to agree to disagree, you know. I just want our people to get up out of the cognitive dissonance of, I want us to stop accepting anything that this oppressor and colonizer has to give to us. That's all. Like, I want us to be able to claim what we want to claim. I want us to tell them who our leaders are. And there is definitely a lot of truth to all of the things that I said here today. And so I get it if y'all don't want to see that. Y'all been told that MLK was this and that from the time you was born. So I get that, you know, and we can agree to disagree. I hope that I didn't offend you in any way. I was kind of frustrated because I feel like in your communication, you didn't address any of the things that I said. So that's all. I just, we're going back and forth. I actually wish I could have dropped the link so you could talk to me if you wanted to, because there's a lot of back and forth in the chat. I know sometimes things can be misconstrued. I also know that trying to type everything you want to say can be a lot. So maybe you got to sum it up in a sentence or two, right? You know, so let me say that. But we can agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? But again, this is going to always be my stance. I would tell you that I used to be like, Martin Luther King had a dream. Like, I believed all of that stuff too, okay? I came to some discoveries on studying and just looking. And yeah, it was disheartening to learn the things that I've learned. But nevertheless, they're the truth. We're not going to get nowhere if we don't face the truth. Like, we'll make these same mistakes. And everything he did, I just see a lot of our activists today do those same things. That's why I don't feel like we have any genuine activism in the community, not any on a large scale. We have smaller people that are doing great things, but nobody knows who they are, right? They don't get the notoriety that they should. And so those same things happen to us today, you know? And I just know as an activist, all the things that we got during the civil rights, like, that's what we fight for today, stuff we already had. You know, we wish we had our own this, our own that. We were more thriving. We were doing our stuff. And so it's like the very things the civil rights movement gave us, it has destroyed us more. I mean, to sum it all up, I just don't understand why, if we got away from our oppressor, why would we fight to be right back in their hands and let them control us? And now here we are. We're paying the price for it because we are controlled, you know, by them. And they call the shots on what happens with Black America in this, you know, in this country. So that's all I'm saying. I just wish that we would have stayed alone when we were separate and left us the fuck alone. You know, we still deal with racism and fighting today. We would have had all of that stuff. But imagine if we had integrated, where we would be today. My God, I think we would be in an amazing place. I really do. I really do. So that's it. Thank you. He done came back with another $20 holla. You must not be mad at me because I would not give nobody that I'm mad at this much money. So I'm glad you're not mad at me. He says, thank you for the $20. Says, I need your email and no, you did not offend me. I really do love you, sis. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I love when I can have a disagreement with somebody, don't be mad at me, because sometimes people be acting like Corey. You hurt their feelings and they just be losing their mind. If you a man, go watch Corey last show. Whatever you do, do not be Corey. My email is TheRealMeechieX. TheRealMeechieX. Make sure you spell my name at Gmail. At Gmail, you guys. TheRealMeechieX at gmail.com. That's it. TheRealMeechieX. All right, y'all. I'm going to get out of here because I think my phone about to die. I've been running my mouth long enough. I need another fresh cup of coffee. Y'all enjoy the Super Bowl if you watch it. I don't watch it, but I'm not really a sports person either. But so I don't watch it because of that. But I don't watch the Super Bowl ever since they was mad for motherfuckers taking a knee over police brutality. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch the Super Bowl. Forget them. Okay, thank you. My moderator put in there. There goes my email, you guys. Thank you for that. And thank you for all the beautiful super chats. It's been a beautiful Sunday. Thank you for that. So anyway, share this video with somebody that need to hear it. But of course, let it be somebody that can handle cuss words. People be offended by my cuss words. Apparently, people are not offended by Black bodies and oppression and racism. But if you send them my video and I'm cussing, oh my God, they can't handle that shit. So I don't understand how you can handle the racist bullshit, but my cousin is just where you draw the motherfucking line. So don't send my video to no sensitive ass family members, okay? Because they not gonna like it. They not gonna like it, and then they might not like you, okay? You know who you can send this to and who you can't. So send it to somebody, okay? Before y'all go, like this video, double tap the screen. Just double tap the screen. If you're on your phone, double tap the screen and hit that like button before you go. Do that for me. I will see you guys. I'll be back on Monday. I'm not gonna go live again tonight just because I just feel like everybody is going to be doing, you know, the Super Bowl thing, eating y'all chicken wings and shit. All right. So I'm going to get out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. I will see you guys tomorrow. We will be live tomorrow, though. I'll set the live and everything. It'll be a regular one. We'll be on MX Network on the computer. It won't be here on my phone, so I can show you guys some things, and we're going to get into some conversations of things that pertain to today that we really need to be paying attention to, y'all, right? All these acts and bills they're trying to pass. We need to read some of them, and we need to understand what they actually mean for us. So that's what we'll be doing on Monday. All right. So like this video, subscribe if you have not, hit the notification bell, and I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.